is going on, peoples? Let me drop my volume down here a little bit. Maybe it won't be as intrusive here. Let me know if there's any problems with sound control and stuff. What's going on, guys? Hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them, and I publish them online. And we've been building a new campaign. Hey, what's going on, D? It's good to see you, my man. We're building a new campaign for Spelljammer and Eberron, and using the Bastion mechanics that we've been developing here online for the past year. So for those that are up to speed, here's the themed artwork that we have for today. A House Cannith, or I guess it's Leonardar Dockyard, creating an airship in Eberron. These are retractable slats that they'll dock around the ship for the convenience of construction. But obviously we have to detach all of the temporary rigging around it to be able to allow it to lift away. But this was a really fun piece to build. And the forced isometric perspective was I will say, a challenge. And even still, I can still see some flaws every now and again here and there. But it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. But we've been building this campaign for Eberron.
Oh, what's up? Your volume is really low. The music is drowning.
Oh, thank you. Let's check my volume over here. Okay, that's good. So let's try. How's that? Is that a better sound balance now? Was just the music was just too loud, perhaps? I'll wait for some feedback here real quick from Dragon. Well, hopefully it's better now. Maybe I'll give it a listen myself here real quick.
Your vocal could do with being
A little higher. Huh. Okay, well, it's maxed out over here. The volume is like normal over here. If the volume should go up, then I will push it up. Let's take that to there and bring this down to here. Maybe that'll have the impact that we want. Let's give it a listen. Hold on, let me catch up with you to see if it's gotten any better. Well, now the sound's gone all together. Okay, that's not going to work. Let's bring this back up a little bit. Okay, let's try another mic check here real quick. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's try another mic check here real quick. 1, 2, 3. The song is still a little low. Let's push it up a little bit more. And go to here. Let's do another quick mic check. 1, 2, 3. And go to here. Let's do another quick mic check. 1, 2, 3. That's a good balance.
That's a good balance.
Thank you. That's a constant work in progress, you know. But I appreciate the shout out. Last thing I want to do is not be audible. So let me fix my volume here again, get that down and out of the way. There we go. Okay, cool. So yeah, we've been building an Eberron Spelljammer Bastion campaign, which we talked about a lot here, but just to run you through the paces real quick. Here's Eberron. This is a 10,000 mile square. There's 12 moons that orbit Eberron. So the furthest, each moon is connected to a plane. I don't remember the names of the moons, but I know the planes that they're connected to. So this is like the most distance is Shavaroth at 220,000 miles. So it's 22 squares away from Eberron. And between these orbital shifts,
also you need a server mod. Probably as well, that such a small server would get a spammer or scammer like that. I did not see a scammer come through.
Oh, you mean on Discord? Yeah, I get hit. Well, I satellite a lot of bigger sites, so they kind of just drift over to me occasionally, especially because I broadcast, I do stuff. So the orbits here around the moon, obviously you can't have any asteroids on these actual pathways because they would just get smashed by the moon. But all the spaces in between the moon paths are where clusters of asteroids can exist. And in this Spelljammer campaign, these asteroids are populated by different populations, populated by populations of people. And this is the cluster that we're located in. You are here. And that cluster is here. This is the more accurate representation. It's a 20 by 20 square at the 500 miles scale. So like this rock here is 2 hours away, or 1,000 miles away. A spelljamming ship in this campaign can travel 10,000 miles per 24 hours, which roughly translates into 500 miles per hour. So it would take 2 hours to travel from this rock to this rock. We've been building out all the individual settlements and all these different rocks in our Bastion work in progress. Let's see if I can find that real quick. Oh, it's I'm gonna pluck this out and drop down. And oh, I didn't turn my music back on. Ha, thanks for that. There we go. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, you know, it does what it does. Here's a bunch of, I don't really worry about it. I just knock it down. Bastion Campaign's work in progress. This is the Google Doc that we are currently building our campaign inside of. I'm sorry, no, it's not. This is the Bastion Campaign workbook that we're going to be using today to translate the facilities of Eberron into the Bastion Campaign mechanics that we've been developing. This is our workbench that we've been building our actual Eberron Spelljammer Kaiju Bastion campaign on. And so we'll be working inside of that document as well, but our primary focus is going to be in the forge of the Artificer. There's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 new Bastion facilities that they've created. And I think we pretty much have all these bases covered in what we have in the Bastion campaign system that we've been developing.
Like right now, you're using your spell. I'm using my Spelljammer stuff as well as a bunch of other stuff to make a new character. Oh, super cool! Oh, right on. That's what you're doing while you're listening. Super cool, man. Making art from right now. I did trace a free base as well as another piece of art. Super cool, man. That's great. I'm glad that the mechanics are working well for you. I'm very proud of them and very, very happy to have been the person that those ideas came through. So similarly, I'm really proud of the Bastion campaign. I've been playtesting it with my home table for nearly a year now, and it's working great. So I'm very confident in how the campaign, how the system works. Now it's just a matter of finding the most elegant way to explain it in the document, assuming that you'll never actually speak to me. So the way that it works is Bastions. The way that works in the Dungeon Master's Guide 2024 is as your character gains level, your Bastion can utilize greater and greater facilities and do more impressive things as an organization, a guild, a structure, whatever. And so what we do is we kind of disconnect those two things, just like in Ravnica. You can have renown, and it doesn't necessarily pace with the level of your character. But as you gain renown, you get access to more options from like your Ravnica guild or your house in Eberron, for instance, by accumulating renown points, opening up new meta mechanics or meta currencies for your character to use during the campaign. So this Bastion system works like that. You can have a Bastion at first level, and you accumulate Bastion points to then spend to purchase different facilities, and they act as hit points if your Bastion is under attack, either is being sabotaged or being sieged by armies. The Bastion points represent your Bastion's hit points, and those hit points are invested into different structures. It's almost like if we had a body hit system, and like say your fighter had 35 hit points, and if you take a hit to the head, it's worth like say 20 hit points of damage. Like a first level character would kill them, a second level character, a solid blow to the head might kill them. But like by third, fourth level, they can survive a good braining from a mace, for instance. The Bastion system's the same way. If I have 3 points invested into my laboratory, and I take 3 points of damage, I could destroy my lab and rebuild it later. Or since I have 3 points, I could like take 2 points out of my laboratory, leaving it with its bare minimum working, and then find somewhere else to dump that other point. Like maybe the barracks gets damaged. So as you damage a Bastion, you're damaging all of the facilities, but you could also keep a free floating pocket
of Bastion points as like as a meta currency that you can spend to either absorb damage and hit points, or to issue additional orders during a Bastion turn. So there's a few different things that you can do with these points. You can, if you're maintaining like a wealthy lifestyle for your characters and the hirelings in the Bastion, then like you can take 4 of those Bastion points and like basically like tap them like mana and reserve them, and while that mana is reserved, it'll maintain that lifestyle without you having to make any kind of checks or worrying about it. So there's a number of different things you can spend these points on, but primarily you spend them on facilities. And in the original, hold on, I'm going to catch up with you real quick. Is a Drakon using former Wild Spacer was the cook of a Draken ship, which crashed on whatever, and play with him. And oh, right on. Oh, cool. Right on, man. I hope that works well. So the Bastion facilities, they rank up 1 to 5, just like your character gains proficiency bonuses at 1, 5, 9, 13, 17, 5 steps, 5 levels of half casting, 5 ranks for the Bastion. And if the Bastion is pacing with the characters, you can see here, like when your Bastion gets a 2nd level, it's effectively like a 5th level character. That's like an NPC, like a sidekick or something, would be a good representation of a hireling inside of your Bastion to be able to perform tasks for the characters while they're occupying themselves with either adventuring or different downtime activity. So you spend the points to acquire facilities inside of your Bastion, and some of them have minimum prerequisites, like if you want a teleportation circle, it has to be a 3rd rank Bastion, because 9th level wizards can create teleportation circles. So it coincides with those levels. So we have something like 23 of them in here. Most of I want to say, no, maybe like 27, 31 perhaps. Like a good 17 of them are 1st rank. So you can get them with just a single point. You have a Bastion, you have like a foyer and a bedroom and a kitchen and a toilet, and then you have your 1 Bastion point. And if you wanted to, you could, like, for instance, have a pub. It'd be more like a bodega, but you'd still have it. You'd be able to generate some income with it. You can maintain a lifestyle through it, like we were talking about earlier. And it allows you to open up options as, like, why would your characters bother with this if you're going to be out adventuring so much? It provides resources and information and magic items to you. So like if we go down to the pub, if we have a pub in our Bastion, pub, it has there's 3 types of perks that you can get from a facility. It's either just a general facility benefit, which makes your facility, your Bastion as a whole operate better. It provides efficiencies and bonuses to the Bastion directly. There's orders, which if you have orders available and you get so many orders based on the rank of your Bastion, and a Bastion turn is 1 week, so every Bastion turn you can issue a selection of orders to your Bastion to carry out. And if you have a pub, for instance, you can issue a crafting order and a research order. So crafting, you can issue the craft order to create non-magical items on the magic item list that we have on the equipment list down below, which breaks down like a keg, for instance, a keg of beer. You can make one of those with a pub, or I believe a guild hall can make beer, can make booze, basically. That's what a pub is good for. It can make food. Mostly crafting, you can make like food stuff. What's up? Of the extended rests. Oh, right on. I haven't seen those yet. I'll have to check it out. The other specific order that you can issue to a pub is research, which is you can issue a research order unique to this facility to observe conversations and overhear rumors about recent events, local items, locations, or NPCs, as detailed in the issuing unique orders section down below. And that's it. There's 1 facility benefit and there's 2 orders. The facility benefit is when you issue the maintain order to determine the lifestyle of your Bastion, you basically get to roll an extra proficiency die and keep the better one. Like at 1st rank it's a D4, D6, D8, D10, D12. and the maximum rank, the rank of your Bastion determines what die you use. But when you get these extra dice, the rank of the facility gives you a die. So if I have a 3rd rank Bastion rolling a D8 plus D20 plus 3 to make my skill checks to succeed at different orders and tasks that I've assigned to my guild, to my Bastion for this turn. If I have a pub, if I'm trying to maintain a lifestyle, like generating money to buy amenities and food and shit, right? So to maintain a lifestyle, like from the player's handbook, I would automatically roll the D20 plus 3 plus D8 because I have a 3rd rank Bastion. But because I have the pub, and let's say I have a 1st rank pub, let's say I have a 2nd rank pub. So I put 2 Bastion points into my pub to have it growth and have some size to it. And now, when I roll that die to determine what level of lifestyle we're going to be able to maintain for now in our Bastion, I get to roll that D8 from before, but I also get to roll a D6. And whichever of those two is higher, I keep that result. So a 5th rank Bastion with 5th rank facility, like a 5th rank pub, would roll a D20 plus 5 for its rank plus D12 because a 5th rank Bastion die is a D12. And then if I also had a 5th rank pub in that same Bastion, then I'd roll 2 12-sided dice and keep the best result. And you have like a poor lifestyle, modest lifestyle, comfortable lifestyle, wealthy, and then aristocratic. 5 ranks, DC 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So the bounded accuracy curve of challenges in D&D coincide with the five tiers of growth that exist inside the 5e game engine. And that growth, that tier growth is represented by the D4, D6, D8, D10, D12. So a lot of these facilities allow you to roll extra dice when you're trying to do something. And then you can specifically try to do something. Like some facilities grant you extra dice when you make research checks. So if I was using my pub to perform research to find out about local rumors or specific NPCs, locations, and stuff like that, if I was issuing that research order with my pub, then if I had, say I had a spy network, and the spy network granted me an additional die when I perform a research check, and if they were both 5th rank, my Bastion, it would be, my Bastion would automatically afford me the D20 plus 5, and then I've got the research die. Since this is a unique order to this facility specifically, I would roll like 5th rank. If this is 5th rank, that would be a D12, and then say I have a 3rd rank spy network, that would be a D8. So D12 and D8, whichever result is higher. So I can add up all these different facilities to synergize together to give me better results, because the thing is on a scale of 1 to 5 in difficulty, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And that typically corresponds to, like, say, if the research I was trying to do was about this mysterious Count Vlogenbog who's in the neighborhood now, who moved into the creepy house at the end of the block, and I wanted to find something out about him, and let's say he's an elder vampire with a CR of 14, pretending to be just a unassuming commoner, CR 0. His front story as a commoner CR 0 would be a difficulty of 10. They'll easily be able to discover the cover story that this vampire has created about himself, because the persona he's projecting is of a 1st rank 0 CR commoner nobody. But in reality, he's CR 14. So it's up to 1, and then 2 to 5, and then 6 to 9, and then 10 to 13, and then 14 plus is 5th rank. So this vampire with a CR 14 is actual, like, to be able to actually know that's actually a vampire, and we are all under serious threat right now. I'd have to roll a 30 on that research check for my rumors and stuff, for my staff to pick together that we're hearing all these little weird stray things that are going on, and we think he's actually some sort of vampire thing. So you need to go look. Like, we just generated an adventure from that. If we had rolled 29 or less, we would have just 10 to 29. We would have just thought he was just another commoner, maybe maybe he sells flowers or some shit. And he's got all these flowers in the back of his yard. That's where he goes and dumps his body, and he covers them over with flower patches, for instance. So you you then start looking at this guy for flowers and stuff. If like you needed flowers for a spell component or something, and now he's got this vampire that's starting to worm its way into your community, and you'd have to flush it out. That becomes a potential adventure hook for your Bastion campaign. That'd be like your adventure of the week. So we have all these different systems in place that these different facilities provide. So they're now, and this is all based off the stuff in the DMG, but expanded upon like if every single facility can get better as we gain ranks in time in the campaign, what can we do so that these things will get better over time? The ability check scaling system is one means, and then all the unique stuff that you can do with them. So what we'll be doing is we're going to go through each of these special facilities, see what they do, and I've already taken a cursory look at these, but I haven't studied them in deep detail. But just off the cuff, from what I've seen these things are capable of doing, generally we're capable of duplicating them with all the facilities that we already have in place. If we find any particular nugget of inspiration that is inside of here somewhere, then that we could potentially expand and integrate that into what we already have here in production. Because if they come up with something that's better or that complements what we're doing, let's integrate it. The book's not published yet. It's easy to integrate stuff right now while we're still playtesting. So that's our objective today, is to go through these things, see how they integrate into the Bastion campaign system as a whole. And once we get done with that, depending on whether we have any time left or not, we have another community. We have one more community we have two more communities that we need to build out for our asteroid campaign that we're running. And the next one that we're going to want to build out is, that was Redstone, and now we're looking for Crag Falls. Capital Rock, which is a third rank settlement with 4,175 population on a asteroid covered in forest and field crops, but it's a 64 mile circumference diameter rock. So it's about, I think that's something like 1,800 square miles. Hold on, I could be off there. How many square miles covers a surface 64 miles, a sphere 64 miles in diameter? I wanted AI to answer. Aw, I'm sad. Oh well. I'll do the work myself. Radius, 32. No. Okay, fine. We'll just go with 32 inches and just convert. Surface to volume ratio. What the fuck does that mean? This is horrible. I don't understand the math involved with this. Okay, fuck it. I'm just gonna, this is a tangent. I'm gonna let it go. I thought it would be fun just to find the answer, but it's not fun. So let's just bail on that and stay the course. But regardless, so this is a village. A first rank. There's 5 ranks of settlements in this system, because settlements or bastions, just like structures are, just like guilds are, just like ships can be, just like nations are, or intergalactic collectives, they could all be expressed as this bastion mechanic from ranks 1 to 5. It's just a matter of scale. So typically in communities or like settlements, you have 5 ranks. So you have a hamlet, a village, a town, a city, and then a metropolis. and the population of these cap at 100 for a hamlet, 1,000 for a village, 100, 1,000, 10,000 for a town, 100,000 for a city, and then anything more than 100,000 becomes a metropolis. So it's up to, so a hamlet with like 65 people, that would be a hamlet. A settlement with a population of 4,175 is less than 10,000, more than 1,000, that's a town. A town is third rank. So when that town attempts to do something like build something, or like harvest wood, or as a logging industry, or harvest crops as a farming industry, they'll make their ability check just like we would like in researching, d20 plus 3 plus d8, and on a scale of 10 to 30, on 1 to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, how high of a result did we roll for that community, and then that then determines that community can maintain or can provide that level of quality materials. So like if I wanted to make, let's say I wanted to make a magic, like a magic broom, and a magic broom is a rare magic item, which is third rank, common, uncommon, rare, very rare, legendary. So rare is a third rank magic item that I could then use the empower order to create, and I would then need to have third rank materials that I can make that magic broom from. So that would mean I would need to get to some location like a town, a city, or a metropolis that can provide third, fourth, fifth rank material for me to be able to make the magic items that I want. And then I'd have the ability check. So my town is going to make these checks to see what level of quality material can they provide to inside the settlement, and use as trade with other communities if you're establishing trade routes and stuff. If you exceed, like for example for crops, which is harvesting food, converting crops into food. We're a third rank community, so I need to be maintaining at least I need to be hitting at least a DC 20 when I'm farming to be able to make sure that I'm providing enough food for everybody in my community. If I don't, then it creates a complication. Every time you fail a die roll, it creates a complication, which could become an adventure. If, for instance, we couldn't maintain, if I spent 3 points of 3 Bastion points, I'd be able to maintain crops at whatever level it was that I maintained for whatever stretch of time that I'm using. That's pretty vague. Higher the rank your Bastion, the longer it can sustain a certain level of quality. And the higher rank your Bastion, or whatever facilities you're using, the higher result you can get. So a first rank Bastion can only produce first rank materials, like capable of feeding up to, say, 100 people, because it's first rank in a first rank community. If it rolls a 10 or better, it provides enough food for the up to 100 people that live in that community. That's a pretty low bar to set. But once you get to Metropolis level of Waterdeep with like 2 million people in it, you need to make sure that your surrounding communities, like all the farms and all the resources that are pouring into Waterdeep, are maintaining that DC 30 to be able to hit that level of production that's necessary. Luckily for them, they only have to roll once a year. So because it's a 5th rank facility, it only has to roll once a year. So once they stabilize their economy, and they can then spend, you'd spend points. Like they'd have to spend 5 points to sustain that level of food. They would then have to, if they want to have the ability to have an aristocratic lifestyle, the resources are there for you to do it. So they would have to maintain 5 Bastion points to sustain that aristocratic option. It doesn't automatically mean everyone has aristocratic lifestyle. It means that the amount of resources, the amount of people, the quality of materials, and the amount of commerce that's happening means that it's possible. Like in a village of 1,000 people, it's difficult to maintain an aristocratic lifestyle based off of the things that are in that community. In fact, they can only roll a maximum of a 28, d20 plus 2 plus d6. It's impossible for them to establish an aristocratic lifestyle for themselves inside of a community that small with such limited resources. but you could establish a trade route with a larger community that is capable of maintaining an aristocratic lifestyle to be able to provide those materials to you. So even though the community isn't maintaining that lifestyle, individual bastions inside of that community could create that trade connection, like through a guild hall bastion, for instance, to establish a connection point for those that are buying into that warehouse with bastion points for themselves are now able to establish with that trade route the means of getting that aristocratic lifestyle into the community for their bastion specifically, not for everybody. You see how that works? So there's a lot of ways for us to be able to manipulate the size and the quality of materials for tangible effects and benefits to your characters. If you want to make cool stuff, you have to establish a pipeline to get cool things. You don't have to grind out the details. It's just an ability check that you make. Once you find a location that has the material that you want to build what you need, you can then do a trade with an ability check, and if you succeed, you get access to that material. If you don't, it creates a complication, which means there's something that's preventing this deal from going through, and it's often something completely different. Like if you're trying to establish a trade route to get these materials and the complication occurs, we'd love to send that stuff to you, but there's bandits that are preventing us from sending out something of that level of value that far away from where our normal security is at. So we can't deliver the goods to you until those bandits are eliminated. That could become your character's adventure to go fight, or however you want to resolve them, up to you. But there's bandits out there and they're a threat to the road, so I don't have an agenda with them. We're just randomly generating things, because if you had succeeded that die roll, there wouldn't have been bandits. But because you failed, we had to generate an obstacle that's preventing that from going through. And bandits just sounds like the most sensible. It could be like there's a war in the area, like there's been an outbreak of violence, so it's kind of like bandits, but it's actually just like maybe well-justified factions that are now making the area between you and your source difficult to navigate. Or there could have been a natural disaster that swept out all the roads, and now they can't get the supply caravan through on the type of horses that they need. They need help establishing a new route, and that could become your adventure. Or if you think that's boring, then you can spend a bastion point to issue an additional order to your bastion hirelings to, hey, go fix that thing. And if you have facilities in your bastion that are that give you benefits to fixing that thing, then you'd roll multiple dice and keep your best results, kind of like multi-advantage with proficiency dice, to ramp up the result to increase the likelihood of succeeding. And if they fail, that creates an additional complication. So it's like, for this bastion turn, we're trying to establish this thing. Well, there's bandits. Okay, well, we can make that. We don't want to actually run that as an adventure, so we're just going to delegate that. So we spend an extra point to get the additional order to go fix that problem with your work crew, and that's your bastion turn. If they succeed or fail, we'll check at the end of the week to see how it went down. Fuck, they failed. Okay, we're now in the next bastion turn, and we weren't able to resolve the bandits issue. In fact, because we failed, it's compounded. The bandits are still there, but now we have something like they have cave trolls. So now not only are they dangerous bandits, but apparently they're starting to team up with the trolls in the caverns in the forest between you and the source. So now they're escalating into a larger scale threat. Maybe they're starting to harass villages and hamlets in the region that are too small in scale to be able to hold off troll attacks. So this is becoming a bigger problem. Do you want your characters to get involved at this point? No. We got other things going on. We got to prioritize this vampire thing. Otherwise, we won't have a village to protect. It's like, okay, well, that's fair enough. So they're going to then relegate that task to their Bastion team again, and now it's a two-tiered problem, so the DM could decide to escalate the difficulty or require more than one roll, like make it an actual skill test, and if it fails along the way, it's a partial complication, or it could just be a single die roll, and if it resolves that, then the trolls are resolved, and now you're just back down to the bandit problem. Well, if I issue a second point, I could have another order issued to, well, while you're cleaning up the trolls, clean up the bandits as well. So I succeeded with the trolls. I'm now making another check against the bandits, and I failed. So it's another complication, another week that goes by that the trade route hasn't been opened up.
Maybe the complication now is my envoys, my fixing team has now been kidnapped, and we're now receiving a ransom letter. Give us 3 of your Bastion points and resources, and we'll return your crew to you. So if you comply, you'll permanently lose 3 Bastion points from your Bastion, potentially having to shut down one of your facilities, having to surrender the lifestyle that you're maintaining and have to re-roll it for, out of luck next week and potentially botching. You could comply, or you could refuse working with terrorists, and maybe now it's a high enough stakes adventure that your characters are willing to go in and actually make this an adventure to go rescue your NPCs without losing anybody, willing to fight the bandits if you need to, but the priority is get everyone else out alive. So it's a heist mission, it's an extraction mission. So like that's how you can start just randomly creating these events, and now we have these bandits established. Now you as a DM, you can think about, well, this bandit runs an organization, so that bandit camp can be operated as a mobile bastion where they pack up all their facilities and they move to another location. So that's kind of how this system works, and how it can expand from a structure into a settlement, into a region, into a camp, into a ship. It has a lot of these flexibilities. So I've probably rambled on enough, and hopefully that's enough of a fever pitch to dream to explain what the capabilities of the system are at a glance. But we'll be building out this book with you. I mean, we've been building this book with you for the past year, about 8 months or so. And I originally created the original ideas for this 2 years ago, before the 2024 books were even announced. And then once they announced Bastions, it's like, oh, well, we're just going to rebuild this thing and make it work with the bat. This used to be configured and structured. It was the same ability check system idea, but it was structured differently. There weren't these facility benefits and downtime activities and stuff that was laid out in the DMG. So everything in this book conforms to or complies with what the DMG does, but it expands on it. So it is a replicatable model, and it's all highly structured, and all the pieces are designed to work with each other. But it allows us to add new facilities whenever we please, because there is a template for creating each facility, and we will go through that process. If what we find in the Forge of the Artificer, if we find that it doesn't comply with something we've already built, we'll create something new just to go through the creative process of creating new facilities for the lulls of it. So this is Artificer's Forge. Let's read more about what the Artificer's Forge is, and then we'll see if it complies with anything that we have inside here. And if it does, we'll compare and contrast the differences and the similarities and differences of it, and see, does this warrant something new, or does this already work inside of something that exists? So let's start that approach. Artificer's Forge. They don't give us access to it until 4th rank. Again, each rank is based on proficiency levels 1, 5, 9, 13, 17. So this is a 4th rank facility. Prerequisites, the way that DMG has it framed is the prerequisites are what your character is able to do. Like if your character ability to use artisan tools as a spellcasting focus, which means that you have to be an artificer, because I think artificer is the only character that's capable of using artisan tools as a spellcasting focus. Maybe the runesmith, if they ever come out with it, that would be able to use artisan tools as a spellcasting focus. That would make a lot of sense, but that's not published yet. So the way that the DMG has it set up is, if your character can't do this, you can't have this facility. But the way that we run Bastion campaigns is that the Bastion is independent from the characters. You could run an entire campaign without any actual characters on character sheets. You could just operate as a nebulous collection of hirelings operating a Bastion, only operating at the Bastion turn weekly scale, and just making ability checks to see if you succeed or fail at the tasks, and generate complications that are only going to be resolved with additional Bastion checks through additional orders, or making alliances with other Bastions that can perform
the tasks that you can't do yet. So you can completely run a game that way, but when you add your characters to it, your characters basically could be in charge of the Bastion, but they could just be hirelings in the Bastion. So you could have you could start the campaign like in the Azorius Senate in Ravnica. The Azorius Senate has millions of guild mages in it. It's a worldwide organization. It's 5th rank. But you only have access to 1st rank facilities in it because you don't have a high enough renown score yet to earn access to higher ranks of Bastion facilities. That's how we run our Strixhaven game, that you gain college credits, and those credits gain ranks, and those ranks open up access to other facilities, and each Strixhaven college has different types of facilities that it uses. Like Prismari doesn't have much use of a laboratory, but Witherbloom and Quandrix do. Theater, Prismari and Silverquill would have use of a theater, but Lorehold really wouldn't. So like the different schools need different, like make use of different types of facilities. So having a party with different, like the characters are in different schools, but they're all friends working together, gives everyone access to different, like if Gryffindor and Slytherin worked together in Harry Potter, they'd have a lot more resources and manpower available to them to accomplish what they wanted to do. But they only operated inside of Gryffindor. So they only had access to Gryffindor stuff, and everyone else was a potential rival. So that's a way of organizing your Bastion so that it operates independently. And as you get higher ranked challenges, it requires higher level characters to resolve those problems. But you could still have low ranked problems. If you're only doing a 1st rank activity and you botch it, it's probably not going to be worth your 13th level character's time to go resolve it, because if it's a monster, it's going to be at 1st rank, it's going to be up to CR1. That's garbage. That's a no quest. That's why Fizban or Elminster gives your PCs these quests. You're at 19th level. Why aren't you dealing with this? Because I have a 5th rank problem. Like the world is peeling open. You don't know it because I'm keeping it together right now, but it's taking all my effort. I can't go chase goblins right now. Just go get the Thane and bring it back so I don't have to think about it because I'm thinking about bigger things. Like that totally builds in a world logic where the DM can create these power structures that naturally filter lower ranked problems down to lower level characters to resolve for them. And at some point the threat is so low that when you're running a Bastion yourself as higher level characters, these low level threats, they aren't worth your time because you're doing something else. So you just issue orders to your hirelings to go resolve it as a skill check. So when you're running a Bastion campaign and each Bastion turn is a week, you have time for one adventure, and that's your episodic Monster of the Week adventure. And then when everyone comes back to the Bastion at the end of their adventure of the week, you resolve all the orders that have been issued and all the like you've already gotten all your complications, and you get the results of all those complications / finish your adventure. And whenever you finish or resolve a complication, the complication goes away and the order that you issue automatically resolves. But you can only attempt resolving a complication for each order once a week. So if you screw up in resolving the complication, then it extends into the next week of, if you want to maintain pressure to try to achieve this thing, then you are automatically going to issue one order to, I'm still trying to make this magic broom we were talking about, and I'm still trying to open up that trade route to get the bandits out of the way so I can get the exotic materials that I need to make that rare magic item. I need those goddamn bandits clear. And my 13th level character is like, I'm holding the world together here and I need a magic broom like in another turn or two. Can we put some gas on that? It's like, well, if you want that taken care of, we got to get rid of these trolls and bandits. Is that a big enough deal for you to do it yourself? Maybe it is. But if I don't devote an order, like one of the, I get a selection of orders each Bastion turn to issue to my Bastion to do different things in their facilities. So like at 3rd rank, I have 3 orders that I can issue. And if making this magic broom is one of my orders, the Empower order to make a rare magic item, but I'm still waiting on materials, I have to hold that order. This is an open order. If I let go of the order, it's like, never mind, I don't need a broom anymore. And technically those bandits aren't an obstacle anymore. So you just let it go. It's like, this shit is getting too deep. It's not worth it. I'm out of here. Maybe instead you use your auction house to try to find somebody that has a magic broom that's willing to part with it for X amount of gold or a favor, which could become an adventure, or like, I want like 1 resource point, 1 bastion point from your facilities, or I want like free access to your laboratory for the next year. And so they become a hireling. You actually don't end up having to pay anything. You actually just got a hireling. But like, that hireling could create complications or have an agenda you aren't aware of that won't become evident until your facilities start having complications and you start weaving that NPC's narrative into where like, he's actually a spy and he's sabotaging your shit, and he used that magic broom to get in the door, and he's been fucking with you for the past 3 months, and you're only just now finding out about it. How deep has this guy wormed his way in? Well, let's roll and find out. And then you can just spontaneously create campaigns and complications and new rivalries and new plot lines because the characters wanted a broom. And we have all this shit that we're talking about. This is all coming from, I want my Bastion to make a magic broom for me. So the Bastion operates separately from the characters. So while we have a prerequisite here for what your character would need to do, we just give a rank, and all the hirelings that are in that facility are the only reason they're a hireling in that facility is because they do the things that hireling needs to do. So if the Artificer's Forge is going to be its own thing in the Bastion campaign system that we're developing, then all the hirelings in the Artificer's Forge will automatically know how to use artisan tools and how to use them as a spellcasting focus, because that's the general theme of what the Artificer's Forge can do. Hirelings 2, the number of hirelings is going to be based on the rank of the place in our system, and it issues the craft order. So, an Artificer's Forge includes 2 Mage Rights hirelings who are skilled in creating magic items. Crafting assistance. If you create a magic item in your Bastion using the rules in the DMG, one or both of this facility's hirelings can assist you, reducing the time required for the crafting. Craft magic items. When you issue the craft order to this facility, you commission the facility's hirelings to craft a common or uncommon magic item chosen by you from the DMG. The facility has the tools required to craft the item, and the hirelings have proficient with the tools as well as proficiency in the Arcana skill. The 2 hirelings assist each other, reducing the time required to craft the item. If the item allows its users to cast any spells from it, the hirelings have those spells prepared. And then charge refreshment. Whenever a magic item in your Bastion regains charges, it regains 1 extra expended charge. So that would be a unique bonus. So what are we doing here? We're crafting magic items, and it's allowing us to craft any common or uncommon item. Flip that. When you issue the craft order to this facility, you commission the facility's hirelings to craft a common or an uncommon magic item chosen from the DMG. The facility has the tools, so it's any common or uncommon magic item. The way that we have it built in our system is, like, for example, a greenhouse, for example, which is a 3rd rank facility, so you get access to it at 9th level, and it has the unique order of Empower, which is you can issue the Empower order to create magic items, specifically potions, of a rarity listed for the rank of your facility. So a 1st rank facility, the 5th rank facility. A facility cannot be higher ranked than the Bastion that it is inside of. So a 3rd rank Bastion could have up to a 3rd rank facility, in this case a greenhouse. There's 5 ranks of magic items: common, uncommon, rare, very rare, and legendary. 5 ranks of magic items. So if I have a 2nd rank greenhouse, I can create uncommon potions, any kind of uncommon potion. There's actually a wide selection of different facilities that can create different magic items. If we were to reference the big list of all bastions, let's go all the way down to the end of the document. And for those that want to look at this, it is a read-only Google Docs file. It'll eventually be on the DMsGuild with a free preview like everything else. But here's the Bastion Campaign work in progress. This is the exact document that we've been looking at this entire time. So you can click on that. It's read-only right now, but just like all the other books that I have published down here, they all have free preview, and you can read all of them. I only participated in the subclasses, the Forsaken Subclasses book. Do I have? Yeah, the Subclasses Revivified. I did the monks in Subclasses Revivified, but I didn't do the whole book. I just got hired to do the monks. But the Theurgy, the Pacts and Patrons, Spellpoint Warlocks, the Color Mana Spellpoint variant rules, the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration document, those are all 100% free preview. To be honest, it's difficult enough to get people to look at third-party content. I think it'd be insulting to your time and your faith that I would make you pay to read the thing. I mean, some people have a 200-page book and only offer 4 pages of free preview, which is just the table of contents and the book cover. My personal philosophy is that if I build something that resonates with you, you'll know that it's good stuff and that you actually want to use it. And I find generally that if someone sincerely wants to use my material, they're willing to pay the reasonable prices that I charge for them. Most of them have discount coupons that are just up front. It's like, hey, if you don't want to pay this full sticker cost, here's a bundle that you can reduce the cost of all these different books if you want to use them all together. I'll save you $10 or something like that. So go look at them. They're full of my art, my ideas. These are everything that I build are things I actively run in my own campaigns. And I run campaigns from level 1 to 20 in about 250 episodes. So no, sorry, about 260 hours. Which, if I'm running 4-hour adventures or 4-hour sessions, and if I don't miss any weeks, I can finish in about a year to 15 months, somewhere inside that block. And I've ran 3 campaigns from level 1 to 20 in the 5e game engine, and I'm currently working through a 4th. So I've got a lot of experience, and all the books that I've built were solutions to problems I had, and that I want to express my game. Like, I want to build a game that works like this, and I love 5e, and I want to make it in D&D, but these rules don't exist to play the game that I want to. So I have to build out these rules. The campaign I wanted to run them in is the perfect excuse to playtest it. So most of the books that I have, like the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration book that I published, we ran Descent into Avernus using the initial vehicle mechanics, and then once Laia Zaraxis came out, once Spelljammer came out, we rebuilt and ran Laia Zaraxis to make sure that all the new ship mechanics that we built worked for that as well. So these are all live fire mechanical things. Like, I ran 2 campaigns from level 1 to 20 using the color mana system that I have published for Magic the Gathering Color. It's a fucking great system, and I'm really excited to be updating it. I think in February we'll start updating the color mana books for the 2024 rules, which are even better for color mana. It's so awesome. So anyway, I'm geeking out. So we were talking about going down to the bottom of the document here to look at our big list of stuff. So let's go down here. Here is magic items. Here's the type of magic items. And obviously the rarity of the magic items is going to, like we said, on a scale of 1 to 5. These are the different facilities that can create each type of item. So, like, for example, rings can be made with an arcane study, a reliquary, a smithy, and a workshop. The arcane study might not be the most intuitive facility for, like, making a ring. So I might end up removing that because, you know, like, a ring is like working with specific artisan tools and stuff that might not necessarily be in an arcane study. Same thing with rods, but scrolls in arcane study, I think that makes sense. Staff, wands, maybe not. So I'm going to put a question mark behind some of these. I like the idea of being able to do it from the utility of arcane studies in general, because the sacristy is generally for divine stuff, sanctuary is generally for druidic stuff, and the arcane study is generally used for arcane stuff. And the when a reliquary, it can do all three of them. So the reliquary is very much like the Artificer's Forge. So let's go look at the reliquary, right? Just to see what that guy looks like. So let's go down to reliquary. And when does the reliquary click in? Reliquary is 4th rank Bastion. Empower Infusion. So downtime activities. Empowered Infusions. A character that spends a Bastion turn of downtime activity using this facility gains the benefit of an arcane, divine, or druidic charm. And in the Dungeon Master's Guide, a charm is a spell that is impressed on you that you can cast without being a spellcaster, without material components, and can be cast as a magic action. So the reliquary allows you to take any spell. You have to be 4th rank of a Bastion to get a reliquary, but the reliquary itself could be 1st rank. So a 1st rank reliquary can infuse a cantrip or 1st level spell. 2nd rank is 2nd, 3rd. 3rd rank is 4, 5. 4th rank, 6, 7. And 5th rank is 8th and 9th level spells. You can issue the Harvest Order to create a talisman that replicates the material components for arcane, divine, or druidic spellcasting. You see up here this order? It doesn't have a check. It's just your character spends a week there, they get this spell automatically impressed onto them. So like if you were high enough level, you might want to have Raised Dead. Everyone has a Raised Dead infused into them. So everyone has the ability to cast Raised Dead in case the cleric dies. For instance, that might be a really good way to prep for this next adventure. And then the cleric could spend their downtime turn prepping something completely different. Or like maybe an extra phase, like a plane shift spell or something. Something that would be super useful if able to use it. Or something completely different, who knows, who cares, whatever, they're gonna do their thing. So the Empowered Infusion is a downtime activity. There's no chance of failure when it's a downtime activity because your character is doing it. Or rather, your character is doing this thing for themselves, not for the... Like, a character can always spend a downtime helping with an order that they issue. And if they do, the character makes the ability check and adds the Bastion die, kind of like a Bardic Inspiration die. So if I wanted to make a magic item in my facilities, instead of issuing an order to have somebody else make it, I'm going to spend however long it takes to make it as my downtime activity. I'm going to make the ability check, and I'm going to get all the dice that my Bastion provides on making magic items and add the best result of all of those to my own ability check, making it highly likely that my character is going to succeed, assuming that's a level appropriate something that they're doing. So we have the Harvest Order here, which allows us to eschew material components for any type of spell, but there is a difficulty in being able to create that thing. That, again, your character could get involved with if you needed to. The other order that you can issue to the Reliquary is you can issue an Empower Order to create an arcane, divine, or druidic magic item, which includes armor, ring, rod, staff, wand, weapon, and wondrous items. And the rank of the facility, even though we can't get access to it until our Bastion is 4th rank, we could decide to just put 1 point into it. If I was running a 1st level campaign, I might have a 4th rank Bastion and a 4th rank Reliquary, but my characters at 1st level only have access to the 1st rank facilities of that Reliquary. So the facilities themselves are tiered inside of it. So I have a 1st level, 10th level, and 19th level team that all use this same Bastion as their hub. The 19th level characters will be able to use all 5 ranks of whatever facilities are there, assuming that the Bastion can get to 5th rank. And while the 10th level character could only get access up to 3rd rank materials, and the 1st level characters could only have access to 1st rank facility options. See how that scales like that? So you can have this global Azorius Senate that's a 5th rank guild that provides massive arcane resources and scriptorums and research facilities and arcane studies up to 5th rank, but because I only have 4 renown, with Azorius Senate, they're not going to let me have access to anything other than the first rank facilities of that study center or whatever. So we don't have an item that specifically replicates everything, but the way that they have, so here's the conflict. As a 4th rank facility, they only give us access with this system here. They only give us access to common and uncommon magic items. For me to be able to, so I would only need to, I wouldn't need to put more than 2 points in. Here's the problem with this. At 13th level, who cares so much about common and uncommon magic items? That kind of makes sense. Like, just have a facility can make anything that I fucking want. Whatever. I'm 13th level. Give me a decent healing potion. Just go for it. Or like, give me a 2nd level scroll. It's fine. It's not going to break the game. But the way that we have it structured is if this our Artificer's Forge can make literally anything up to the rank of the facility, then a 5th rank Bastion can make any and every legendary magic item in the game. And you wouldn't need to have all these different types of facilities. So it's too efficient. So I am going to be refusing that craft magic item option. Charge refreshment. Whenever a magic item in your Bastion regains a charge, it regains 1 extra expended charge. That's a neat little perk. I don't have any problems with that as a concept. Let's go see if we can find... let's see. There's unique benefits, there's orders, and there's downtime activities. These are the 3 types of things that you can do. So the ability to regain additional charges whenever a magic item in the Bastion regains a charge, that would be along the lines of a unique benefit. Like, for example, the Planar Gate. This facility can cast the Gate spell once per day, and you can roll an additional Bastion event each turn. If this was an observatory, a unique facility benefit is this facility can cast the Scry spell once per day. If the target is a creator familiar with the Bastion, they don't need to be on the same plane of existence. This benefit can be used more often by expending Bastion points with each additional use. So you can cast multiple Scry spells. That unique function could be translated into an Azorius Center, Thought Police Center, for example. That would be a good translation of what that would be. Here, I need to make my music go. It stopped for some reason. So, if you wanted to take this Artificer's Forge as written, it'd be fine. It would fit fine into the system that we already have in place. And since it only allows you to create up to uncommon magic items, there wouldn't be any sense in putting more than 2 Bastion points into it. But that would be the limit of what you could do with it. Yeah, there you go. And like the downtime activities, like the unique facility benefit. So each facility has the. Here, let's go down to crafting real quick. Craft. Okay, so this is the amount of material, like the value of gold of material that you can produce on a weekly basis as a 1st rank Bastion, or like with a 1st rank facility. That's also the cost of a common magic item. This is the cost of an uncommon magic item: rare, very rare, and legendary. And this is the duration of time that it takes you to make it. A legendary magic item, I believe, according to the DMG, is 260 days. I think. That's 2/3 of a year. That's 8 months. With this system, it's a little bit more expedited. It's 1 season. And we have rules for Artificers that if your Artificer is involved as downtime activity of creating a magic item, you get to reduce the scale by 1 degree. So a legendary magic item with a PC Artificer on house, spending time with the hirelings in the Bastion, basically micromanaging that order. Instead of it taking a season, it only takes a month. And if it were a rare or very rare magic item, instead of taking a month, it would take a week. And an uncommon or common magic item, instead of taking a week, if your character's involved, it would only take a day. So you could, like the Artificer, like the Armorer, can create common armor in a day. The alchemist can create uncommon potions in a day. So that's the battlesmith. What do they make? They make implements. Is it implement? No, it's weapons. They make magic weapons. So a battlesmith could make a rare magic sword in a week. So that's outpacing what the crafting assistants allow you to do. This would allow you to basically allow them to add their, like, your character. A character can normally produce 10 gold pieces of magic items per day using the DMG system. And if we have 2 hirelings helping out, that means that you can do 30 gold pieces of magic items per day. And if we were to divide 200,000 by 30, divided by 30, that'd be 6,666 days that it would take to create a legendary magic item. That's fucking ridiculous. It would take 18,000 days if it was just my character. That's broken. So you want Bastion facilities that allow you to make shit. I'd say 1 season is a lot better than 18,000 or even 6,000 days. Hey, what's up? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Battlesmiths with robotics. Yeah, I think it is technically weapons, but that's just the thing that your Artificer could speed up, right? If we had, let's go to, so our system is already giving you a time delay in getting magic items, but it's really short compared to the rest of the game. Let's go to, the workshop is what we want to look at. The workshop. Empower. You can issue the Empower order to create magical items, implements, rings, rods, and wondrous items. And Craft. You can issue the Craft order to create non-magical items from the big list of magic items that we have below here. Here's all the items, literally every item in the player's handbook, broken down into its value. Like if it's less than 100, if it's 100 gold or less, then it's common value, right? If it's 40,000 up to 40,000 gold, it's very rare. If it's 200,000 gold or more, it's legendary. Up to 200,000 or possibly more, it's legendary. So like making a club, which is basically like a wood, stone, or iron cudgel. That's a cheap item. Typically, it's going to be made out of plant, like a wooden club, or animal, like a femur, like a bone club. You could make it out of metal if you wanted to. These are just typical materials used, and we aren't picky about what kind of plant and what kind of animal. That's up to your creativity to decide how you want to narrate the world between the players and the DM to build that world. Is there a lot of rice and bamboo in the region that you're operating in? Then maybe this club is actually like a super thickly coiled pack of bamboo shoots that have been basically tarred and fused into just one massive cudgel, or it's a carved out of out of a thick willow tree, for instance. You can narrate that, or it's carved from the hip bone and femur of an elephant, and maybe there's elephants in the region, right? So, and you can easily make a club with an armory because they make weapons, and then a garden and a workshop. So the garden, because you grow trees and bamboo and plants and stuff, and it's a plant material. We're not being picky about necessarily what's growing in that garden, but if you have a garden, you can cobble together materials to make a club with it if you needed to. And then, of course, the workshop could be to carve the wood or the bone or forge the metal if you wanted to make a metal club into a club. So you can see how the workshop at first rank on a weekly basis, I could create 100 gold pieces of materials. Here we're looking at a club. But like as we drift down here into, let's say, Tinker Tools, those are common because they're only 50 gold pieces, and they can be created in a smithy or a workshop. And here's all the items that can be created with Tinker's Tools. So by default, we can make all these things in a smithy and in a workshop as well. Let's see if that's true. Let's look at a hunter's trap.
Smithy and workshop. Let's see if we can go find a hunter's trap. Hunting trap.
Workshop. And it should be smithy. So we still have some work to do, but that's the idea about how this system works. Ink, greenhouse, and laboratory. So if we have a greenhouse, we can get the materials like dyes from plants to be able to make ink from. But we could also use a laboratory to extract resins and dyes and chemicals from any type of material to be able to make those inks. So this is how that system, this is everything in the player's handbook broken down, and you can use it if you've got something that doesn't exist inside of here. You have plenty of guidance about what kind of a facility would I need to make that thing, and what kind of materials do I need to have access to. And so like half plate and plate mail, that's over that's over 400 gold. So that means it's a rare magic item, which means it requires a DC 20 to successfully make it. If you're third rank, you can make it in a month, or if you have a player help you, you can make it in a single week, a single bastion turn. And like the Artificer, for instance, could expedite that for you, or skilled artisans that you are able to recruit, for instance. It requires any mix of plant, animal, and mineral materials. Typically, it's made out of some sort of metal, but you could have like bone plate mail. You could have some sort of treated resin plant material that's hard, like stone root or something like that, like ironwood, ferric vines. These are all different types of fantastical plants in the D&D world that are as hard as steel. That if like your druid, for instance, is a non-metal advocate, then you could use animal and plant materials to get the type of armor that you want, even though it isn't actually made out of metal. You see how that works? So you can make it typically with an armory, which can make any kind of armor and weapons, and then a smithy is presumably where you would end up in here because of the default materials. So this is how that system breaks down. So when we're looking at this workshop that can craft stuff, we now have a better idea of how much stuff a workshop can make. Cooking utensils. Like you can't make rations with cooking utensil. You would have to make rations like at a pub, or a garden, or a greenhouse. See how that works? So there you go. So that's like the workshop Empower. You can issue the Empower order to create magical items, implements, rings, rods, wondrous items, and those can be up to 5th rank, up to legendary magic items once you get there. So again, I don't feel the need to take the Artificer's workshop and translate it as its own unique thing, because I mean you can literally just import it as is. It doesn't do anything against what the system we've built. It doesn't contradict anything. It offers too broad of a reach of all magic items, so they limit it to being common or uncommon, while we allow you to build them up to any scale, but limit it by how the different types of facilities that you get access to, and of course the ability check. There's no chance of failure when you use this Bastion system, and I'd be okay with that too. So I'm going to go ahead and scratch off the Artificer's Forge as not necessary. That I think we already have enough built into our system already to overcompensate and to surpass what this is capable of doing. But again, if you wanted to drop this in because you like specifically what it does, go right ahead. 1 point for common, 2 points for uncommon. And there you go. If you want to charge magic items, I would say that the rank of the magic item has to be the same rank of the facility to charge it. And that would be, like, if it's a rare magic item, then it has to be a 3rd rank Artificer's Forge, even though you won't be able to get above uncommon magic items. Maybe we would remove that restriction, so it could be any rank item. That would probably just be fine. But if we were to scale this up from 1 to 5, then we would also want to scale up the charge refreshment up to 1 through 5 to match the rank of the magic items. So I think that's a fair cross. So let's go ahead and call that one done, and let's go down and look at the Construct Forge. Again, if I really feel there's something that is so new and different that we don't have it covered already, we'll look at actually adding it to the document. I just don't think there's enough here to warrant it being its own special call out when there's so much other stuff that covers basically the same ground as this. I would not be opposed. That's a fun idea. I would not be opposed to allowing you to, like, say, spend a bastion point not on a facility, but to add this enhancement to a facility like the workshop or something. That's not a bad idea. I'd be down with that. But yeah, the crafting assistant is completely overridden, and the craft magic item, you're either going to use this or you're going to use the default system that we have. But I would be fine with spending a single point. So maybe we should start building a collection of improvised or kicker effects, like separate non-facility options. I actually kind of like that idea a lot. So let's go back here. Let's go down to the bottom of the book. Let's see. Single bastion point investments. Empowerments. Let's call it that for now. Let's go to a Word doc that will scrub the format. Let's change this from being bold. Thank you. Okay, so we have charge refreshment. First rank. So we could get this as early as first level. If we have something with a charge, we'll gain additional charges off of that. I'm perfectly content with that. Maybe we'll find some more fun stuff inside here that will have similar options. I like this. I hadn't thought of that before, but having these individual point expenditures, I think that's a fun kicker sort of thing to do. That just gives us one more thing to accumulate bastion points for. And hey, thanks a lot to the community out there that's listening in and checking out what we're doing here. I really appreciate anyone that gives a shit about what I talk about at all, quite frankly. All this stuff is a link down below. If it's still work in progress, it'll be a Google Doc and it'll be a read-only document. If it's something that we've already completed, there'll be a link to the DMsGuild. We're going to start building Magic the Gathering stuff like characters and monsters and spells and stuff like that. We'll be building that stuff on my Patreon, which is also linked down below. I don't expect you to follow until I start doing that. Probably, I'm gonna guess it's probably gonna be around June or July next year that we'll start doing that. It's a little ways away, obviously, but whoever is a member of Patreon will have the opportunity to decide what type of conversations we have on our Monday, Thursday, Saturday jams like this, and what I'll produce first, and they'll get first access to it before it becomes public. So keep an eye out for that. I'll be talking about it more and more as we get closer and closer to June, but it's on the way. Let's see. I got lost. Hold on. There it is. And this is what I wanted. Cool. Okay, so now let's look at Construct Forge. Level 17, so you can't get this until the end game. 5th rank. They assume it's 5th rank. And again, Artisan Tools is spellcasting focus, so it assumes that you have obviously an Artificer, because that's the theme of the Forge of the Artificer. A Construct Forge, of course, needs art. Well, that's if you have your player be the reason for the Bastion. And again, like we were talking about earlier, our Bastion can scale and act independently of even any characters there, which is why it's such a great DM and player tool, because you can literally frame any fortress, guild, adventuring party, community, nation, anything can be framed inside of this Bastion concept. And we probably won't have time tonight to build another community, but if you look at the previous Spelljammer Eberron campaign design stream that we ran on Monday this week, 3 days ago, we spent that session building out an entire community using this Bastion system. It took maybe like an hour or so for us to build that out. And then we did a whole bunch of other shit for the other 2 hours or whatever. But if you're interested, check that out. And probably on Monday next week, we'll do another one. So pressing on right here in the now, the Construct Forge. So what does this do for us? It's used to make constructs. So recruit action. Love to see it. Recruit construct. When you issue the recruit order to this facility, you commission the facility's hirelings to craft a construct from the Forge Constructs table. The construction takes the time and costs you the amount listed in the table. Keep in mind, I've been working on the Bastion system for over a year, and I have gone over the most recent iteration of facility mechanics that we have in the game for probably about 6 months now. So, having said that, use the recruit action to create a construct from the Forge Constructs table. The construction takes the time and costs you the amount of material listed on the table. Constructs made in this facility count as a Bastion Defender. Deduct any you lose from your Bastion Defender roster. You can choose not to count one or more of these creatures as Bastion Defenders, in which case they can't be called on to defend the Bastion. Instead, they act in accordance with their nature and use their stat blocks in the monster manual. And here's our construct options. Animated armor. No pop-up, huh? Sad. Animated broom, animated flying sword, bag of smothering, helmed horror, shield guardian, Warforged Titan, 200,000 gold. So that is a legendary construction. 25,000 gold, that's a very rare construction. 1,000 gold, that is going to be a rare construction. Very rare construction. Rare construction. Uncommon, and rare. So those are our stacks. And then we're on to the next thing. Check this shit out. First off, let's catch up. The Adventures of Fair Runebook has a town that the book explicitly states can become a player's bastion. See? There you go. They're basic. So let's take a look again at my workshop. Recruit, again, the unique order to our workshop, and you can go back 6 months looking at what we've been building with this. You can issue a recruit order to this facility to coax the spirit into the body of a golem constructed in this facility to serve as a hireling and defend the bastion. The CR of golem created this way is determined by the rank of this facility as listed below. So here's your rank, 1 to 5, common, uncommon, rare, very rare, legendary. And that corresponds to the CR of the golem. First rank is up to 1, 2, 1, 5, 9, 13, and then 14 plus. The difficulty to create it, and again, if you fail, it just creates an adventure hook that you could default as an ability check for your characters to go on to make this happen. But hey, look at that. Animated armor, homunculus, iron defender, animated ballista, flesh golem, helmed horror, shield guardian. But we also have clay golem, warforged titan, because they're only CR9 in the Eberron book, so there you go. But up to 13 CR, animated statue, granite juggernaut, stone golem, colossus, iron golem, steel predator. You can have a number of golems defending your bastion equal to the rank of the facility. While a golem remains within the bastion and the workshop is undamaged, it can be commanded without difficulty. If it leaves, or if this facility is damaged, the golem can break free and act independently until it can be returned or the facility is repaired. So these things can't just roam off. You can't just like build a bunch of these things and have them run off with you if that's not what they normally do. They are going to act on their own as they would. But like an iron defender or like the Shield Guardian, for instance. You can build Shield Guardians to protect your characters if you want to have your team stock up on it, if your DM allows you to. Otherwise, Shield Guardians are going to be only inside the facility, providing the defense and fun
like if you get attacked, you can now use your shield defenders or your stone golem to attack the enemy, so you can take control of that creature in your facility to attack. But this is literally what the construct. But our system's a little bit more flexible, and it gives you potentially more power. It's intended that these things are only staying actually inside of your facility, inside your bastion. But as Dragon pointed out, with this system as well, you can make a settlement as though it were a bastion. And so you would then be able to have like iron defenders and stone golems act as like a city watch, patrolling the place. You can issue a recruit order. The CR of golem created. You can have a number of golems defending your bastion equal to the rank of this facility, while a golem remains within the bastion. And that's just because as you start scaling up, they become ridiculously powerful. The barracks allows you to recruit more CR0 soldiers, and the number grows. But with this, you get individuals, but they scale up in CR instead of. It's more of a flavor thing than anything else, but it is something. It is a notable difference. Okay, great. So I'm going to consider this one resolved because I like ours better, quite frankly. Let's see. Dragonmark Outpost. Okay, this is a second rank facility, level 5. Requires 10 renown, just like with our the Strixhaven College credits and the Ravnica renown system that we revamped 4 months ago in the Martial Powers Collar Mana system that we were streaming. We're now seeing here also that they're using renown scores as prerequisites to gain access to different facilities. We were talking about that earlier today. So I don't know if Wizards watches my stream, but I gotta say, I'm really, really happy more often than not when I see Wizards going in the direction of our design ideas. I'm thrilled about that. I mean, I'll break my arm patting myself on the back there. So I mean, call me out if you want, but I'm really happy to see that. It makes me feel like I don't know if I'd want to work for Wizards. But I feel like because I keep landing on things that like for example the rogues cunning strikes, reducing the amount of damage that you can do in a sneak attack to create different power effects. We started playtesting that 3 months before they announced that mechanic. Like there's a lot of stuff that we've naturally come to that maybe anyone could have come to that conclusion. But we're coming to the same conclusion in these books that we build, that the WotC staff is arriving at in the way that they build their mechanics. So I feel like if I had the opportunity to work at Wizards, I would actually do well there with my mechanical design ideas. But I don't like the idea of getting laid off, and they seem kind of chaotic. So I would love the prestige. If I didn't have a job that I needed to pay the mortgage and all that stuff, I would have to really consider leaving my day job to go work for WotC, knowing that I might not be there for more than a year. And then what happened to my old job? I got replaced. Fuck you, son. Good luck, you know? But I am proud to see these things. So how does the Dragonmark Outpost work? It's an area set aside for use of the Dragonmark houses. The hireling is a house agent and serves as a liaison between you and your superiors in the house. When you add this facility to your bastion, your renown score with your house increases by 1. The Pacts and Patrons of Ravnica, the book that we have listed down below, one of the invocations that we have in that book is if you take this invocation, your renown increases by 2. So a warlock, like a guild mage warlock in Ravnica, using those rules, could use all their invocations not to improve themselves, but just to ramp their rank in their chosen guild. Like a Dimir warlock could have, like with 6 invocations, could have 12 more renown automatically built into the character, plus whatever they earn through adventuring. So they're going to rise in rank quicker than anyone else because they're using all the power that they're collecting from the blue-black energies of the guild, and they're using their bodies to siphon it back into growth of magic inside Dimir. So they're being rewarded by cycling that magic, using themselves as living batteries for their guild to grow with, they're being rewarded additional renown as honor and reward for their devotion to the guild above themselves, for instance. Dragon Mark Empowerment. So how does this work? Requires any Dragon Mark feat. When you finish a long rest in your bastion, you gain 1 extra spell slot of level 2. You can use this spell slot to cast only a spell you have prepared because of a Dragon Mark feat. And then Empower. House Favor. When you issue the Empower order to this facility, you instruct your hirelings to call a favor in from your Dragon Marked house. You can use any benefit of your house that your renown score affords you, as described in Chapter 5. And this favor doesn't count against the total number of favors available to you. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until your renown score with your house increases. Oh, until it increases. Interesting. Okay, that's really cool. I really like that. And it's a really loose, open mechanic. I'm not going to take the time right now to go down and look at what the favors are. But that's something maybe we'll get to next session. So, Dragon Mark Empowerment. When you finish a rest, you get an item. Let's go look at, is it the meditation chamber or is it the reliquary? Hold on. Let's swing. Oh, it could be the sanctuary. Let's go find out. Hold on. Sanctuary. You gain a boon. Okay, so downtime activity. Nature's Blessing. A character that spends a bastion turn of downtime activity using this facility gains the benefits of a druidic charm. And that's going, and we don't have it listed here, but the charm, again, it scales with your character's level and the rank. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Character level 1, 5, 9, 13, 17. It all scales together. So, and they're like the reliquary, sacristy. Oh, here you go. Facility benefits. Sacristy. Once per day, when a character finishes a short rest in the sacristy, you regain an expended spell slot up to level 5. Is that better than gaining an entire spell slot, like an extra spell slot up to level 2? No. But we can go with Dragon Mark Empowerment. First rank. When you finish a short rest in the bastion, you... What do I? I'll catch up with you guys in chat here in a second. You gain 1 extra spell slot of level 2. You can use a spell slot to cast only a spell you have prepared because of a Dragon Mark feat. Level 2 spell slot that can only be spent to cast a spell prepared through a Dragon Mark feat. I'm going to leave that language there for now, and then when we come back through on an editing sweep, we'll add more single point bastion options, and then we'll clean up the mechanical language. I suspect we're going to do something that scales, but we'll see. They use that mechanic a lot in Heroes of Faerun, the bastion facilities for all the major factions. Right on. And was there another piece of treasure? Powerhouse Favor. House Favor. First first rank. I'm making these all first right now. Maybe I shouldn't bother. If they're all gonna be first rank, why fucking write it down? Maybe we'll have a scaling rank thing, like you can't get access to this until second rank or blah blah blah. But we're just adding a list here right now. We can fuck around with it later. House favor. You gain. You can request one favor up to your rank in the dragon mark house you are devoted to. You cannot use this feature again until you... Oh, we're gonna do it like this. You can sacrifice, meaning you'll never get it back. You can sacrifice 1 bastion point per rank of favor you request from your dragon mark house. So you can do that as often as you want, but it's going to permanently destroy bastion points. We can regain bastion points through treasure. Hold on. So we're talking about your bastion earns bastion points to increase in rank. The more bastion points you have, the more you spend these bastion points to create and maintain facilities. But you can also, like if a project, like a bastion turn is every week. And let's say you're making a magic item that takes a month. That's 4 bastion turns. Normally, you would make that roll. You'd have to make that roll 4 separate times, once per week until it's completed. And if that week you fail the roll, you have to pause progress until you can resolve whatever complication came up, which could be an adventure, or it could be an additional order that you have to expend a bastion point to regain. But you get all those bastion points back at the beginning of your next bastion turn. Kind of like you get all your mana back when you finish a long rest. A bastion turn is basically a long rest for your community. But if, let's say it's a DC 25 and it's really difficult for you to roll a 25, so I got, say, a 26. It's going to take me a month to build this. I'm going to take 2 bastion points. Like, say it's a 25. It'd be a difficult. That'd be a 4th rank difficulty, which requires 4 points. So let's say I was making something. It would take a month. It's a 4th rank task. I'd have to roll a DC 25 each week. Otherwise, a new complication arrives that slows down production. To get past that bullshit, say I rolled a 26 right off the bat, I could spend 4 bastion points and basically tap them like mana and reserve those 4 bastion points to sustain. Like, I'm concentrating on a spell, I tap 3 mana. As a spell cat, like if I want to maintain Spirit Guardians as a cleric, I'm going to tap 3 mana, and those 3 points of mana are representing I'm maintaining concentration on this 3rd level spell. The bastion system works similarly. I'm going to tap those 3 bastion points those 4 bastion points to keep this magic item creation going, and as long as something doesn't take those bastion points away from me, it's going to sustain that result. As soon as I lose those 4 bastion points in reservation, I have to start rolling again each bastion week, and once I get 4 points again, once I hit that DC 25 again next week or whenever, once I lock that down, I can literally lock it down by, again, tapping 4 bastion points to maintain that. Like, if I want to maintain a lifestyle of poor, modest, comfortable, wealthy, aristocratic. And so a settlement has to maintain an aristocratic lifestyle so that anybody in that settlement will have the resources that they would need to achieve an aristocratic lifestyle. But to do that, they themselves have to make their own check in their own bastion. So if I build a pub in Waterdeep, Waterdeep is not going to automatically give me an aristocratic lifestyle because I have a pub. It just means that if you can roll a DC 30 on the lifestyle provided by your pub, we have the amount of people and exotic needs and resources available for you to be able to have an aristocratic lifestyle as a result of operating your pub. And if you're, say, a third rank guild, like a third rank pub, you would be able to maintain that for a week, and then month, season. You'd be able to maintain it for a month. So for 4 weeks, you could maintain that aristocratic lifestyle until you would need to roll it again. A 5th rank Bastion can maintain a lifestyle for an entire year. A 1st rank Bastion can only maintain something for a week, so why bother? She's gonna have to re-roll it next week anyway. So 1st rank can't sustain. 2nd rank, oh that's right, 2nd rank is a month. 3rd rank is a season. 4th rank is a year, and I think 5th rank is also a year. So yeah, so there you go. That's the idea there. So these Bastion points, if you permanently sacrifice a Bastion point, you need to recover that Bastion point somehow. And you could gain Bastion points by gaining levels. You could decide that when your characters gain a level, here's how many Bastion points they should have per level. So you can see by 5th level, we'd automatically gain 2nd rank because we'd have 11 points. And we accumulate more Bastion points. And then by 9th level, when we gain 3rd rank Bastions, we have 21 points, the amount of Bastion points you're supposed to have. So this allows us to naturally grow the rank of our Bastion with the level of our character, like they suggest in the DMG. But this is how the point value rolls out. And of course, characters can combine their points together to either have their own independent Bastion or to combine them all together. And if you aren't keen, if your Bastion can be any level compared to your character, if I have 4 characters that are all 5th rank, if they're all 5th level, then that would be a total of 44 points. It would be possible for your 4 5th level characters to finance the production and maintenance of a 5th rank Bastion that has difficulties of DC 30. And the kind of threats that you're going to run into are going to be a lot higher than 5th level characters can deal with. Unless you keep it really low powered and just use that huge glut of points to buy stuff. But you could also gain points as rewards. And here's the gold value of a Bastion point depending on the rank of the Bastion. So a 1st rank Bastion is 100 gold per point until you've accumulated 10 points. That would be a total of 1,000 gold. And then you buy 1 more point, and now you are now 11th level. You now have 11 points. With that 11th point, that's going to cost you 1,000 gold. So it's 100 gold per Bastion point until you get to 10. And then 11 through 20, those are 1,000 apiece, and you'll then end up with 10,000 gold. And then each point at 21 plus is worth 10,000 gold each, so you'll then accumulate 10 points worth to 100,000 gold. So the 31st point is worth 100,000 gold, and then by the time you accumulate 10 more of those, you'll have gained 1,000,000 gold pieces of value. And then at that point, at 5th rank, each Bastion point that you accrue is worth 1,000,000 gold pieces. Or rather, I could spend 1,000 gold and get 10 points as a Bastion and max out 1st rank Bastion, but once I have another 1,000 gold pieces to dump on treasure, I can get an 11th point and become a 2nd rank Bastion. So I can convert gold from adventures into Bastion points, and the auction house allows you to auction off Bastion assets to get gold back. It takes time. You can almost immediately convert gold into Bastion points, but to convert Bastion points into gold, it's a skill check to see what % of value you could get. And it could be like you only get 10% of the value. So like I sell off a 100,000 gold piece valued Bastion point and only get 10,000 gold in return. Well, that's all the auction would go for. That's all you can get because you rolled like shit. That's your fault for rolling. Do you want to burn another point? Maybe get some more stuff? So you could get gold from Bastion points. And to that note, once your character starts getting into tens of thousands of gold pieces, gold kind of gets stupid and ridiculous, right? That's the ongoing question. Like, what am I supposed to do with all this gold my characters are getting? Please give me something expensive that's fun to spend it on. With this system, you don't get gold at all anymore. If you do this quest for me, I will give you 3 Bastion points. Regardless of what level your Bastion is at, you're going to get 3 points. And if you have a 5th rank Bastion, that's basically 3 million gold worth of value that you're getting. But to you, that's just paying for a modest lifestyle, a comfortable lifestyle for you and your guild member, or you and your Bastion hirelings throughout their facilities. Like 3 Bastion points don't really mean that a lot to a 5th rank Bastion. But 3 million gold is completely unstabilizing to an economy. So instead of having this massive gold dump, start operating from the premise of everything that we get are Bastion points that we'll either invest into our Bastion, swap out for trade goods, like we can barter Bastion points for material objects or magic stuff, or we can auction off the assets and actually get raw cash if for some reason we need cash to get what we need instead of just being able to swap trade favors or establish a connection or something like that. So the game assumes that you're going to occasionally be burning off Bastion points to acquire things that you need at the character level. And this new expenditure system that we're now starting to explore here, this is diving into that same space. So I love it. Love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So that takes care of, I think that resolves the novelty of what the Dragon Mark outpost could do. So let's just touch base here again real quick. Wrong space, right time, Kearney. That's not it. That's not it. Where'd it go? Hey, here we go. Thank you. Charge refreshment. This was the Artificer's Forge. And this is the Dragon Mark Outpost. What's next? I love doing this stuff. I love doing this stuff. I love building campaigns this way. This to me is what Dominion means. This is the Dominion style of play to me. A fully integrated 5e game system that allows you to build out kingdoms, guilds, businesses, religions, cults. It all operates. It can all be operated and expressed using this Bastion system. It's a shame that Bastions aren't Creative Commons, so I could do a Kickstarter and like ttrpg and put this on my Patreon and stuff. But since the Bastion is proprietary and we're leaning into these Bastion mechanics for like the orders that are issued and the downtime activities work with 5e, we're going to respect what the DMsGuild, what WotC has done and put it on the DMsGuild. But I'll be able to take these ideas out to my Patreon. Once this book is published, we'll be able to put it on my Patreon, and then we can just build infinite tools and different toys to use the same structure. Like here's an expansion, or maybe I'll build a PDF out of that and drop that onto the DMsGuild instead. But my general idea is that once we built like the Pacts and Patrons of Ravnica down below, it's 10 otherworldly patrons based on your guild of Ravnica. Like the Azorius Senate is an otherworldly patron. It is a life force using blue and white magic energy in Ravnica. And it grants powers to warlocks that are guild mages that learn to harness and expand the use of that magic to express the philosophies of Azorius. So your warlock guild mages become accept Azorius or Dimir or Rakdos as their otherworldly patron. And so each has their own unique subclass, but there's also renowned, there's renown and stuff like that. Like your warlock can accumulate renown, like we were talking about. But that book, that was a specialized book. It was a very specialized character book. And unless you have needs for like an Azet Warlock and you don't like any Warlock options that already exist, maybe you'd consider my Azet Warlock. That's such a hyper-focused product that it doesn't get sales on the DMsGuild because it's such an ultra-specific project. That's the sort of thing that I'd be better off in the future. Like if I wanted to build like the Book of Dimir, like here's 14 subclasses specifically built for Dimir. That would be a good Patreon project using the mechanics of the color mana system that we built on the DM's Guild. There's a 100% free preview for you to look at the base rules of how the color mana system works on the DMG. On my Patreon, I'm using those tools to build specialized characters. If you wanted to make a Dimir Mind Assassin, here's what that, like, here's a subclass for Dimir Mind Assassin specifically, using a combination of the blue-black spells and powers that we have in both the color mana spell point variant rules and the martial power system that we've been developing. Like, that's the kind of cool shit that we can do. And then, like, here's like 7 Dimir magic items that make their job that much more forgettable. Pardon the pun. Like that sort of thing, you know, like that's a really good Patreon thing. But all the core rules and the way that these things operate, that has to be on the DM's Guild because I'm using their IPs, both the Magic the Gathering IP and all the D&D characters and stuff like that, all that IP stuff from the Player's Handbook. Although the Player Handbook stuff is on Creative Commons, Ravnica, Strixhaven, Theros, and any MTG stuff is strictly DM IP and can only be published on the DM's Guild or as fan content with free access and no restrictions. So building the base rules on DM's Guild honors the IP, while fan content on my Patreon allows me to dive into niche content where Patreon supporters get to vote on, hey, what do we want to work on this month? And then we can have some options like let's do a Boros Swiftblade. No, let's do the Dimir Mind Assassin. How about a Golgari Rot Shaman? Let's do one of those. And you know, we can just take a card, take the essence of that card, and then build a subclass for different type of character classes. Like that'd be a fun Patreon project. And similarly with this, we can build Bastion facilities for Dimir, or for Lorehold, or for Nivea in Theros, or whatever. But those are some of the ideas. So I wouldn't want to bother with building out anything. Like once this book is published, then probably everything that we're going to do from then on would be on my Patreon. So let's look at the next facility, Inquisitive Agency. This facility is an office for an inquisitive agency, either the headquarters of an agency you control or a branch office for a larger agency, such as the Information Acquisition or Karash does investigations, both of which were discussed in Chapter 4. Its one hireling is a secretary who maintains an extensive directory of useful contacts and helpful agents. So this here is leaning into the idea of limited access of a Bastion facility. Like you can't get access to this until 4th rank, apparently. Well, I suspect we're going to have an equivalent to this. So let's see what it does. Research. Information gathering. When you issue the research order to this facility, you commission the agency's secretary to gather information from contacts and agents regarding a specific individual you designate, assembling a comprehensive picture of that character's activities during the previous 7 days and over the course of the next 7 days, within 10 miles of your bastion. Unless the DM deems this certain information is beyond those agents' abilities to uncover, you learn the following information: where the person is and has been staying, what they've spent money on, who they've met with, where they've shown identification papers to the authorities, if the bastion is mobile, and we already have rules for mobile bastions that we built out about 4 months ago. It takes time to establish this network of agents in a new place. When the bastion is traveling, you can't issue the research order to this facility. After it arrives at its destination, the first time you issue the research order, the facility hireling spends 7 days establishing a new network, after which they can then use the research order normally for another week. Similarly, with our mobility rules, when you have like a moving camp, like an army is a bastion that's mobile. And so they can't use any of their facilities while they're mobile. It isn't until they stop and like make camp that they again get to unfurl all of their facilities. And that takes an order which resolves in a week. So you can issue the order to make camp, And you can actually start issuing orders while that camp is being made. We keep the timeline liquidy, but you can't move while you're in camp. So you can use Bastion facilities while you're camping, but as soon as you want to move, you withdraw use of all facilities and roll. Unless, of course, you have like a boat, which has a stable structure that can maintain facilities even though you're moving, which is more like what this is looking at. So if your Bastion is mobile, like if you roll into a new town, you're going to need time to establish that. The way that we would work that is that once you moor in a town and you decide to stay there for the Bastion turn, you get to establish those contacts, and in the process of establishing those contacts, you get to do the research of finding out information. There's two major facilities that we have in our Bastion system that aid in this: the pub and the spy network. So let's look at the pub first. We looked at this earlier already. So unique order. You can issue a research order unique to the facility to observe conversations and overhear rumors about recent events, local items, locations, or NPCs as detailed in the Issuing Unique Orders section below. And then let's also look at Spy Network. Spy Network, unique order, research. You can issue a research order that is unique to this facility to gather information about people, places, and things, local or abroad, searching for sabotage or information about potential rival targets as detailed in the Issuing Unique Orders section below. So let's go visit Unique Order section below. Crafting, mass production, custom, empowering magic items, harvesting materials, which can only be done in a settlement because it has a large enough area to actually harvest materials. Though the harvest rule can be used for different reasons, like making a talisman uses the harvest order, even though you're not actually like producing mass quantities of anything. Maintain is for lifestyle. Recruiting is hiring creatures. Research. You can research plans for mundane items so that you can craft them. You can research plans for magic items so you can empower them. You can research item creation plans. Here's the item creation plans, whether magical or mundane. The facilities creating the items must first research them. So here's your magic rarity and the gold value of the mundane item and the research DC. Again, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 to align with the 5 ranks of rarity or gold value. And then there's gathering information. So facilities that have the research order listed as one of their properties can be issued the research order to gather specific types of information such as current or historical creatures, events, locations, and objects. Each facility lists what type of information can be gathered. There's 2 methods of gathering information: general information and specific information. So, researching general information. When you issue the research order to gather general information about a topic, make a Bastion check. The result of the check determines the number of questions the player can ask the DM about the topic of research. The DM must answer truthfully. If I roll below 10 on this research check, not only do I not get to ask any questions, but I create a complication. And I can ask up to 5 questions. And this is per week of activity. So if we go back to here, we can ask we get 4 specific questions about only a person. This is basically a deconstructed legend lore / contact other plane spell based on the results of your ability check. If you roll 10, 10 or above, you're going to get a question. And you can keep asking questions if you keep going from week to week. And then you have researching specific information. When you issue the research order to gather specific information about a topic, make a Bastion check. The DC to gather the information is determined by the rank of the topic, equal to its rarity value, CR, not RC, dyslexia, Phil. RC or rank accordingly. So if you want to find out about a common magic item or an unusual object that you saw that was up to 100 gold pieces of value, or a creature that's up to CR1,
or a bastion, facility, guild, religion, organization of first rank, it's only a 10. Up to 5th rank, legendary item, 200,000 gold value or more. CR 14 or higher, or a 5th rank guild. A specific piece of information at that level of knowledge is a DC 30. If you succeed the research check, roll a bastion die equal to the rank of the facility and subtract the rank from the rarity of the topic to determine how many questions you can ask about the topic, minimum of 1. The DM answers truthfully. For example, if a 5th rank facility rolling a D12 to determine how many questions can be asked about a 4th rank topic and rolls a 6, it's 6 minus 4 equals 2 questions. The DM decides if another research order will yield additional information or not. If a topic cannot be researched further, another topic related to the original topic can be researched instead. When a bastion check fails, in addition to creating a complication as detailed below, the topic of research may retaliate against whomever is researching the information. If the information being researched is through directly observing the activities of a creature, such as spying on a local noble, if the result is less than its intelligence or wisdom score, whichever is higher, the subject becomes aware of your research. If the information research is through directly observing a location or object, creatures in proximity to the topic become aware of your research. The reaction these creatures may have towards you, towards your research, is based on their attitude towards the researchers gathering the information. If their attitude is friendly, the response can be, you can ask one question and the DM is going to answer truthfully. So no matter what, if they're friendly, you're just trying to be coy about finding stuff out, like what's your birthday, without actually asking you directly, then yeah, you'll find out, yeah, my birthday's in May. Attitude, neutral. You create an additional complication. So you have a complication, which could be anything. Anything that the DM would think would be interesting that would cause a blockade, like they teleported, like they disappeared when we were around the corner, you can't find them anymore. So now you got to find out, how do they disappear like that? That becomes your complication to be able to gather information about that person, because they keep vanishing whenever they go around corners. Well, once you understand how they're hiding like that, then they won't be able to use that trick and you'll be able to continue to maintain observation of them. But if they're hostile to you, the creature attempts to sabotage the facility that was issued the research order. So if it's a pub and somebody finds out that they keep asking questions at that pub, then they're going to go and they're going to try to deal bastion points of damage to the pub to disable that facility from asking more questions. That'll teach you from sticking your nose in where it doesn't belong. Or maybe you're using a spy network to find out information about them, and they keep killing your spies because they keep getting found. And there's a complication on top of it. So good times. It says here, let's make an example using Allops. Allops result in when somebody studies dark forbidden knowledge and it kills them. It then turns them into an incorporeal undead spirit that tries to compel other people to find the answer that it couldn't. And it kills you. It deals ability damage during that process. It's a really cool undead to have built into the research system here. But that, like, if you're trying to find out, like, say, Asmodeus's name, and you fail the check, that could literally kill you and turn you into an Allop. And now you have a fucking Allop in your arcane study. Super. Let's go deal with that, shan't we? Let's scroll down just to see if I had missed anything. Nope. Okay. So basically, this framework that we have here in the Inquisitive Agency, all it can target are NPCs, and these are the only 4 questions that you can ask, but you're guaranteed to get the answers of these. With the system that we've implemented, you can ask any question about anything at all that you want and either get general information, or you can ask about, or you can get specific information. Like, for example, Asmodeus's true name. That's what we were trying to research. That's a specific topic of conversation, like a specific topic subject that you want the answer to. And being that it's Asmodeus with a CR far above 14, that's a difficulty DC of 30. And if you fail, Asmodeus now knows you're trying to figure out what his true name is. That's going to also create some sort of random complication, like your research laboratory just catches fire. And it could kill your researcher, turning them into an Allop.
And on top of that, Asmodeus now you want to know, you're putting serious effort into finding out his true name. That's going to piss him off. So doing that just declared war with Asmodeus and all of its followers. You can anticipate your bastion being attacked by Asmodeus cultists attempting to sabotage probably your wealth lifestyle, like your arcane study, maybe scriptorum, any kind of networking that you have, any magic creation process, any defenses that you have, to render you impotent, incapable of causing a threat to him. So now you're going to be at war, constantly trying to keep your bastion from being damaged because you picked a fight that, it doesn't matter what level you are, that is above your pay grade. Until you get to like maybe level 17, maybe you could take on Asmodeus. But if you want to keep him down, you got to go to his house in his plane to kill him for good. That's a tall order. I don't know if anyone ever wants to pick that fight, but can you imagine trying to do that at 7th level? Fuck you. My God. All right, but so, having said that, another example of these guys are leaning in the direction that we're going, but we've built a system here that's far more broad in application. If you are checking on a specific NPC and you would just want to find out general information about them, and you roll well and you get to ask 5 just general questions, 4 of them could be this, and another one could be, I don't know, where's does he have is there any relatives that are any particular type of trouble, like any kind of financial trouble? And then the DM can say, yes, he has an uncle that's having money problems. Well, what are those money problems? That's a specific question that you want the answer to. And this is a 3rd rank noble, so to find out that answer, you're going to have to invest an additional week of time focusing on that uncle specifically. The merchant the noble that you're actually interested in is 3rd rank, but this uncle is only 1st rank. So for you to find out what's causing all their money troubles, that's only a DC 10. And it's easy for you to find that answer, but now you have some leverage when you go and negotiate or talk to this noble. You know that he has family that's got a gambling problem, and you happen to have installed a gambling den in your bastion recently, and for some reason he ended up with a pile of chits and a free invitation to the opening night. And now that noble's uncle is there, and you get him into further compromising positions. So, fun times. Like, that's the kind of stuff that we can do. Super cool. You don't actually have to have characters to do that type of stuff. You can do all of this stuff at the Bastion level just with ability checks and narrating how the complications work out. But at any time, you can activate characters of any level to then dive in and deal with that problem. So if you wanted to run a full campaign, you could start off with a 5th rank Bastion that has 5 ranks, a 1st, 5th, 9th, 13th, and 17th level party. And every time a complication that comes up that's of 3rd rank, your 9th level characters will go attack that, will go try to resolve that complication. And if they, like, maybe it takes, like, say every 3 adventures they gain a rank, they gain a level. So over the course of 15 adventures at 9th level, they become 3 adventures at 10th level, then 11th level, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, and then they would transition into being 17th level characters. Meanwhile, any 5th rank complications that arise would be appropriate for 17th level characters. So you can have 5 different adventuring parties that your players control. And first they make their Bastion decisions, like what orders are we attempting to accomplish right now. Make those die rolls to see if there's any complications. Say there's 2 or 3 there's 3 complications under 5th rank Bastion. There's 3 complications, and when it all rolls out, the complications is one's a 5th rank, a 2nd rank, and a 1st rank. So you now have 3 adventures. You as players could decide we're going to run each one of those adventures back to back. Like let's do the 1st level, then the 1st level, then the 5th level, and our 17th level, our 5th rank team is already 18th level. So let's do that one last. But when we finish all 3 of those adventures, we'll then come back and we'll update our Bastion turn. Or you could say, I'm only interested in our 5th level party right now. That's where all our fun is at. Occasionally a 17th level adventure can be fun, but for the most part, they're kind of a pain in the ass. So let's just set those aside until something like really cool comes along. And so that 5th level, that 5th rank problem we're just going to relegate that to the Bastion. We're going to spend a Bastion point to issue an order to have the Bastion go take care of that problem. We're not going to get directly involved because we want to do our 5th level character's adventure and then just update the turn and just keep moving forward. But you could have different like multiple teams all operating out of the same Bastion, and anyone that's willing to spend a point on orders is willing. It can have like you get like one free order, and then you have to chip in orders. So each team of players can have their own pocket of Bastion points that they can spend each Bastion turn to issue their own unique orders that they want to facilities, while other teams are issuing Bastion points to the same facilities separately, and they're not even interacting with each other. But if it's like if it's a West March campaign, and there's 2 different groups of similar level, they can scuttle and remix their teams to do different adventures. But you could have a 1st level team of 1 player group, another player group could be a 3rd ranked team, and the DM is maintaining the Bastion and creating new challenges at different tiers of play for the different groups of characters they have, but they all fold back together into the same Bastion, advancing goals together. So things could be happening in your Bastion that this team doesn't know about, but this team is orchestrating. So these things are firing off simultaneous. That's a very old school Beckme original Gygax style dungeon, Dungeons and Dragons campaign. But it's not built. It's that Dominion level of play that we activate as early as 1st level using this system. So let's keep moving forward. Kandaric Vault. 9th level Bastion. 9th level, that's a 3rd ranked Bastion. Requires House Kandaric. 15 renown with House Kandaric. Not bad. A Kandaric Vault occupies space in your Bastion like any other special facility, but it is an extra-dimensional space that can be accessed from other places. As a Kandaric facility, it provides exceptional security storage for your trade goods and other treasures. Only you and your Bastion hirelings can open the vault door. Kandaric access. Because the vault is an extra-dimensional space, you and only you can access its contents from any Kandaric bank facility in the world. These banks are found in cities across Corvair. Trade. That's Kandaric access in the Kandaric vault. Trade. Goods. When you issue the trade order to this facility, its hirelings spend the next 7 days procuring non-magical items that have a total value of 2,000 gold pieces or less, and stores them in the Kandaric vault, or the hireling uses those 7 days to sell goods to the Kandaric vault. You bear the total cost of any purchases, and the maximum value the items purchase increases to 5,000 gold pieces when you reach level 13. So it's 2,000 gold until level 13, then it's 5,000 gold. When you sell goods from your Kandaric vault, the buyer pays you 20% more than the standard price. The profit increases to 50% when you reach level 13, and 100% when you reach level 17. Okay, so this is trade goods, which we already talked about today. So we already know that's integrated. And now this Kandaric access. This is the interesting one. So let's go down to Kandaric Vault. And this is what called Kandaric Access. Kandaric Access. Oh wait, I'm putting the cart in front of the horse. So what's the 2 things that this can do? Extra dimensional space and trade goods. So let's go look at the auction. Is that what it is? The auction house? Hold on. Yeah. It's either a storehouse or auction house. Let's look at them both. Oops, too far. Let's look at the storehouse real quick.
When issuing a craft order or harvest order trade, you can issue a basic trade order to have any type of materials, non-magical items, or plans for item creation delivered to the Bastion. You can issue the basic trade order. So let's go look at the basic trade order real quick. Trade. Guildhall, Storehouse. While someone, so the Guildhall and Storehouse have unique trade options. While some bastions are designed specifically to harvest materials or create items with the facilities and hirelings chosen for those bastions, the trade order can obtain materials already harvested or items already created from facilities in other bastions and settlements. When issuing the trade order, the bastion doesn't need to offer specific items or payment to obtain the item traded unless a complication requires it. Otherwise, the costs related to trading are automatically incorporated into maintaining a lifestyle for the bastion. A bastion can trade within the settlement it occupies, or it can establish trade routes with other settlements. While trading within a settlement to acquire an item or material from the settlement a bastion occupies, we'll make a bastion check. The DC of the bastion test is determined by the value of the material or items received during trade. The maximum value and rarity of an item that can be traded this way is limited by the lifestyle the bastion is maintaining and the quality of lifestyle maintained for the settlement of the bastion occupies. So the value of the item, 100 gold, 400, 4,000, 40,000, 200,000, is also the rarity of material and magic items, and requires a minimum lifestyle, and it still requires a trade DC to roll for, and this is how long it takes for you to locate that item if it's within the same settlement as your bastion. And if you want to, and if it's going to take an entire season for you to acquire this legendary magic item, you're going to have to maintain 5 points for an entire season, which is generally 12 bastion turns. You'll have to, if you don't maintain those 5 points, you have to roll a DC 30 every single bastion turn for 12 bastion turns. Every time you fail to hit DC 30, it creates a complication that then becomes a potential another adventure, another thing that's keeping you from making your legendary thing of blah. More and more shit keeps coming out of the woodwork, stopping you from making this legendary thing or getting access to this legendary thing. So if I have 5 bastion points just laying around, maybe I deconstruct my lab to free up some points to pay for this thing. But once I put those 5 points down, that DC 30 stays for as long as I can sustain those 5 points. So if I have somebody coming in and sabotaging my bastion, when you're attacked by a siege and there's this creature storming your place and just burning the place to the ground, the defending characters, they get to choose which facilities get destroyed. But when it's sabotage, the attacking team sneaks into your bastion and destroys that specific facility or use of bastion points. So if they know you're sustaining 5 points for a legendary magic item, they don't necessarily need to attack your auction house, the storehouse, though they could. They could also attack the 5 points you're holding to make sure that deal goes through. You could fuck their deal directly through sabotage. And the DM gets to make up how does that sabotage take place. Like weird rumors crop up, or like you get blacklisted for something you didn't do, or enchanters come through and they just convince the guy to give it to somebody else, and now someone else has the thing that you were trading for. These are complications that could generate adventures that your team could go on as a heist, or just make an ability check and have your thieves go do it. Your NPC thief hirelings go fetch that thing for you. If they can hit a DC 30, they'll bring it back to you, boss. But they failed their roll and they haven't come back yet. Crap, we gotta go rescue our thieves before they snitch on us, and we still gotta get that goddamn item. Hopefully they're in the same place, because here comes our adventure. Like that's how you could run your campaign, right? Is this stuff making sense? Hopefully it's making sense. And thanks a lot to everybody that's listening to me rant about all of this. It's its own game unto itself. It's a way a DM can fall down an almost infinite number of rabbit holes, depending on how, like, you could build out every building in Waterdeep to be their own 1st to 5th ranked bastion, interconnected with possibly other franchising bastions to create larger guilds, while also deconstructing Waterdeep itself, all of its different wards, into separate 4th ranked cities that are underneath the umbrella of Waterdeep as a general metropolis. You can keep dividing and subdividing and further dividing smaller and smaller portions of the settlement into blocks, like the city, like the metropolis and surrounding territory, and then each ward, and then inside of each of those wards, like, you have a neighborhood, and in that neighborhood, you have individual buildings, and each of those buildings could potentially have more than one type of operation running inside of them. And then, like, when you go out into the communities, like this farming community over here, it's like it and like 1,000 other hamlets that are feeding food into Waterdeep as a whole. Each of them have their own story. So this hamlet in the outskirts, it has trouble with goblins. Like, this hamlet has goblin trouble. And if you don't take care of it, other hamlets surrounding it could also have goblin trouble. So you can see how you can use this Bastion system to scope in and out of the geopolitics and relationships of different communities and kingdoms throughout your campaign world, getting as deep into the weeds as you want, as deep as the characters want, because the DM can run all of these orders and activities, creating results that are creating complications that become adventure hooks that the characters can find out about. Yeah, there's goblin trouble out in the wheat fields. Can you go deal with it? By the time you get out there, you find out these goblins have tamed a fucking bullet, and now they're tearing up crops and stuff. And I don't know, maybe they're looking for buried treasure they think is there or whatever. So they trained a bullet to dig the place up so they can try to find the treasure. So now you have a bullet that's tearing up everybody's crop fields. But the true problem is the goblins, because they're the ones that are trying to figure out how to find this missing treasure. Is there actually missing treasure or not? See, this is becoming an interesting, like, first level character adventure. That bullet's terrifying, but all you have to do is disable the goblins. So you don't have to deal with a CR7 bullet. You only have to deal with CR1 half goblins. And as soon as you can take them out, the bullet's just gonna go do its own thing. It'll leave. And now you know there's treasure laying around here someplace, maybe enough to go buy that pub you were looking at. And now you've gotten, say, 300 gold pieces worth of value that you've now converted into 3 Bastion points to get a pub, and say a garden and a storeroom. So now you have a small Bastion that's getting itself set up to be a fun commerce hub inside of the docks district in Waterdeep. There you go. So that's the idea. So this trading mechanic that we have in the storehouse can already do anything that the Kandaric trade goods can, and we don't have a cap on it. We just have to gain ranks, so we can keep scaling up. Now, Kandaric access, that's a different thing. So let's go to the is it Demiplane? Demiplane. The Demiplane can provide, and this is from the DMG, of course. So we're just looking at it differently. The Demiplane can provide space to install facilities without requiring additional space in the Bastion. Each Bastion point spent to improve this facility increases the size of the Demiplane listed below. This is the scale that we have from 1 to 5 for the size of spaces. Cramped or 10 feet, like 2 by 2. Roomy or 4 by 4. Ample or 6 by 6. Spacious are 8 by 8. And vast are 10 by 10. This is bigger numbers than what was in the DMG. The DMG only has 3 sizes: cramped, roomy, and vast. And it's 4, 16, and 64 squares. But we have 5 ranks, so we increase the size total. You can create multiple demiplanes, each increasing in size separately. If a facility located inside a demiplane can craft non-magical items or empower magical items, reduce the time required to create the item by 1 degree as listed on the table below. So like if it would normally take a year, it only takes a season. If it would normally take a season, it takes a month. If it would normally take a month, it takes a week. If it would normally take a week, it takes a day. If it would normally take a day, it takes 8 hours. We were talking early on about an Artificer also being able to speed up time frames. It's like an armor Artificer using downtime activity to create magic item in the facility alongside hirelings. It would normally take a month to create that rare magic item. But because you're an Artificer, for you, it only takes a week. But if you were doing that in a demi-plane, that week would then become a day. So you could make a rare magic item with an Artificer in a workshop inside of a demi-plane and take it from a month of activity down to a single day. There you go. So that is, I think, stronger results, again, than what the Artificer workshop could do on its own, like as listed. I think this is a superior system that allows you to build like a ball pit, for example, was a cool survival game that came out recently. And you and while between monster runs, you're building meta currency by building different creating different facilities in the plot of land that you have that's going. You build like a barracks, and you build a temple, and you build a workshop, and you build wheat fields and stone masonries and all these things to collect stone and to collect plant material and to put them into the smithy to be able to create a new bonus. Like you get like you can now get like plus 20% damage on steel balls that you fire during your monster run, for example. Like those would be that would be like a very modern Steam game version of like what this Bastion system is achieving, basically. Same sort of idea. So Kandaric, okay, so what else? Any facility that grants additional Bastion dice when making a Bastion check must also be inside the demi-plane to add those additional dice to benefit from the reduced time provided by the demi-plane. So if I have a vast demi-plane that can fit up to 100 squares, that means I could put 25 first-rank facilities inside that demi-plane. And if those facilities are synergizing with each other, creating additional dice that we could roll to increase the result of our ability check, they all have to be in that demi-plane together, and they could at that accelerated rate. You see? Like I wouldn't gather information inside of a demi-plane unless it was an observatory that was using the interdimensional scribe feature that allows me to search on about things even if they're not on the same plane of existence. So an observatory in a demi-plane would be able to compress the time needed to research information about something from a Bastion turn, which is a week, down to a day. So I'll have answers for you in the morning, boss. I'm going to get to work. And then they disappear into the void and they come back with answers. And they look worse for their effort. And then finally, when a character can spend downtime activity to gain a benefit, if the facility is instead a demi-plane, if the facility is inside a demi-plane, reduce the time required to gain that benefit to 1 day. Similar, like gain that boon or that spell that we get to carry with us, or that dragon marked, that dragon marked like extra spell slot. Instead of it being a whole day, we'd be able to get it back basically in a short rest. So that's the demi-plane, right? But the Kandaric Vault is that demi-plane, but the kicker about the Kandaric access is that you can get access to that demi-plane anywhere in the world, that there's a door available that's attuned to it. So we're going to take that idea and we're going to wheel down here to the bottom. We're going to go with Kandaric access is you can sacrifice 1 Bastion point to gain to access your demi-plane from any Kandaric Bastion facilities. I'm going to change that. Let's see. You can sacrifice 1 Bastion point to access your demi-plane from any other demi-plane access, demi-plane entrance. So if you have a demiplane, I could not enter your demiplane. I can enter mine if I'm willing to burn a bastion point. I like that. I think that's a decent translation. What time is it? It's 9 o'clock. How are we doing? Well, we're nowhere near done. How many does we have? We did the Kendark Vault. There's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The helms don't count because they're all the same. So there's 10. Now there's 9, 8, 7. There's 7 of them. There's 7 that we actually need to do. And we've done the Artificer's Forge, the Construct Forge, the Dragonmark Outpost, and the Inquisitive Agency, and the Kendark Vault. We have what, 2 left? Manifest Zone, Museum, and that's it. Okay, well, let's power through this and finish it tonight, shan't we? Yeah, let's keep on keeping on. So the next one we have is the Past the Kendark Vault, Manifest Zone. Neat. Okay, so prerequisite: ability to use spellcasting focus. Space is vast. Hirelings 1. Order and power. A bastion with a manifest zone is infused with the planar energies of one of Eberron's planes of existence. Choose the plane when you build this facility. Empower. Manifest charm. When you issue the empower order to this facility, the facility hirelings conduct magical rites for the next 7 days. At the end of that period, you gain a special charm. See Supernatural Gifts in the Dungeon Master's Guide, called a Manifest Charm, which lasts until you use it. You don't need to be in the Bastion while the rites are performed to gain their benefits. The effects of the charm depends on the facility's linked plane. And then here's a bunch of linked planes. Rizia, Plane of Ice. When you use a spell slot to cast a spell that deals cold damage, you can expend the charm to treat the spell as if it were cast using a spell slot 1 level higher than the slot expended. Shavaroth, when you score a crit, you can expend the charm to deal an extra 10 points of damage on top of what you would normally do. Okay, these are pretty cool. I like this idea. I like that Dalcor is not included here because we've lost access to Dalcor. So it shouldn't be on this list. I'm liking that they're keeping faithful to that. Okay, so how would I do this? This is mirroring the meditation chamber. So let's go look at the meditation chamber. Meditation Chamber, unique facility benefits. When you use the Empower order to create a magic item, you can roll an additional Bastion die equal to the rank of this facility, which is great for just making magic items. But downtime activity, Divine Contemplation. A character that spends a Bastion turn of downtime activity using this facility gains the benefit of a Divine Charm. And again, it's synchronized with the rank of the facility. And then recruit, you can issue the recruit order to attract an adept sidekick as a hireling that can also be a sidekick during adventures. That's the meditation chamber. Let's go look at the training area. And again, all these things are linked in the description of this channel down below. Facility benefits when issuing. So here's the training area. Empower order to create magic items. I can roll an additional die. Just like the meditation chamber up above. Downtime activity, specialization. Characters that spend a Bastion turn in this facility gain a character boon. The boon that a character can gain is determined by the rank of this facility up to the listed character level. Only one such boon can be active per character at a time. The rank of the facility plus and the level of your character determines the type of boon that you can get. So I could have a 5th rank facility but only be 1st to 4th level, and I can't get access to any of this other stuff until I gain higher levels. But here's some of the cool shit that we get. At 1st rank, you can get a weapon proficiency, an armor proficiency, or you can learn a language. At second rank, level 5 to 8, you can gain a bonus skill proficiency, a tool proficiency, or you could learn a weapon mastery. At third rank, characters level 9 to 12 can earn any of the lower things, but could also gain one feat that you qualify for, or you could gain expertise in one skill that you already have proficiency in. Fourth rank, level 13 to 16, you gain proficiency with one saving throw. And then at fifth rank, level 17 and 20, you gain one epic feat. It should be epic boon. You qualify for, ignoring the 9th level prerequisite if necessary. So these are the things that we offer you with this training facility. The menagerie does similarly interesting things. It requires second rank for menagerie, though. So when issuing a harvest order to acquire animal materials, you can roll an extra die. The downtime activity is resistance training. So a character that spends a Bastion turn of downtime activity using this facility gains resistance to one type of damage appropriate to one of the creatures recruited here. The resistance remains for a number of Bastion turns equal to the rank of the facility. For example, if a rank 1 menagerie has recruited a Magman, you can spend a Bastion turn of downtime actively training with the Magman, gaining fire resistance at the end of the turn that will remain active for one Bastion turn. While a 5th rank Bastion could also have a Magman give you fire resistance, and it will last for 5 Bastion turns, or 5 weeks. And it also has recruiting. You can recruit a local creature to act as a hireling, and again, the rank of the facility is going to limit the CR of the creature that will be willing to join you. But so we have the menagerie, we have the meditation chamber, and we have the training area that all provide a boon equal to this. But instead of it having your hirelings cast it upon you while you spend a week there, it's just basically you training with them or whatever. So the manifest zone, let's it's Eberron specifically. I don't see a way of universalizing it, so I don't think I'm going to include it in this book specifically. But I haven't translated any of these things yet, so I feel compelled to translate the manifest zone. Manifest zone. And I'm fine with that having a requires 3rd rank. So we'll get access to it the same level that we get access to Teleportation Circle. 9th level or higher level characters it's appropriate for. Let's see. Requires 3rd rank and a settlement. So when this facility is installed in a settlement, like I could have a 1st rank settlement with a 5th rank Bastion in that settlement. It's just the settlement that it's in is incapable of producing the resources that a 5th rank Bastion is going to consume. So like we were talking about earlier, it would have to have trade routes, spend Bastion points to establish trade routes to other settlements that are capable of providing the level of materials that that Bastion needs to perform optimally. The way that settlements work in this system, here I'll show you. Conveniently nearby settlement. Multiple bastions can be built and maintained independently or collectively within a settlement, as detailed in the settlement section below. And bastions attract creatures and NPCs to become residents of the settlement, as detailed in the settlement section below. And you can actually issue the harvest order to acquire animal, mineral, and plant materials in your settlement. So a settlement is a type of facility in your bastion, where a bastion has a government facility, which is the bureaucratic infrastructure needed to issue ordinances and maintain a government. Where is it at? Unique facility benefit. You can govern a number of bastions and settlements of a rank up to the rank of this facility as detailed in the governing bastions and settlement section below. So if I have a 3rd rank bastion, I can have a 3rd rank government, which would be large and sufficient enough to oversee the daily operations of a 3rd rank community, which is a town of up to 10,000 people. So I can have, my bastion has government inside of it, which then means I can build a settlement around it. The government allows me to create a settlement. A government seat also allows me to command other bastions, as though the governing bastion was a character issuing orders to other bastions. So you can literally franchise by putting a government facility into. I might want to change it to bureaucracy. Might be a more accurate term, but we'll stay with government for now. But that government can oversee operations of other bastions or the settlement that grows around your government facility. Hopefully that makes sense. So when we're looking at this manifest zone, to me, manifest zones, they aren't like the size of a room. They're like miles in size. So when this facility is installed in a settlement, it creates a manifest zone aligned to one of the 12 planes of Eberron that can be accessed, as detailed in the Forge of the Artificer. I'm not just gonna rewrite them all, because honestly, all these boons that are listed in the book, they're fine. They're perfectly fine. So let's look at rank. So you can't get access to this until 3rd rank, but it doesn't come in at 3rd rank. The size of the manifest zone is equal to a settlement of the same rank. Rank size 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's tool through the Book of Yore, down to settlements. Let's see. I went too far. Armies, sieges, and sabotage. Structures in a settlement. Here we go. Harvesting materials. Size, radius. So a first rank settlement has a rough radius of 5 miles. So a 10-mile diameter, 20-mile diameter, 100-mile diameter, 200-mile diameter. And let's see, area, the space occupied by a settlement, radius to the center of the occupied map. So cities in Metropolis, there is no max population in Metropolis, but the minimum area is going to be 100 miles for a city, and then Metropolis is just going to get bigger and bigger. So minimum size for a hamlet is 5 miles. So if we are creating a manifest zone, it would be 5 miles for a single rank, 5, 10, 50, 100. Thank you. And the size of the manifest zone cannot exceed the size of the settlement. But if you have a 3rd rank settlement, which is a town with a population of 10,000 people, potentially 50 or more miles in size, you can expand out the manifest zone, and it can encompass the entire settlement. So anybody and everybody within that manifest zone would be able to gain whatever benefit it is that that manifest zone creates. Let's look at Mabar. That's big in Karnath, and in the mornings, Monday through Friday in the morning, we're doing artwork for an adventure that takes place inside of a manifest zone in the nation of Karnath. It's actually a 5-mile radius manifest zone that the team is going romping around inside of, fighting undead and shit. And this thing just died, so I'm going to refresh it. Yeah. So what does Mabar do? When you use a spell slot to cast a spell that animates or summons an undead, including animate dead, create undead, summon undead, you can expend the charm to treat the spell as if it were cast using a spell slot 1 level higher than that expended. Cool. Okay, so basically, manifest zone. Ooh, let's let's not make it the size. I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to make it the size of the settlement or not. Yeah, let's just go for it for now. And if that ends up breaking, I'll see if there's. I don't honestly know, but I'll go to the Eberron Discord and ask if there's known size limits to how big a manifest zone could be. 100, like a 200-mile diameter manifest zone seems awfully excessive. I'm thinking the size of the manifest zone is equal to equal to the rank times 1 mile. Might actually be a better way of doing it. It's equal to 1 mile times the rank of the manifest zone. Let's do that. That way, if we had a city that has a manifest zone inside of it, actually that's a great question. How big is Sharn? Width, 6 miles. The size of the manifest zone, the radius of the manifest zone is equal to 1 mile times the rank of the manifest zone. So 5 ranks can be 10 miles. So the manifest zone around Sharn could be 3, maybe 4. That'd be 6 miles diameter, which would encompass the city of Sharn. There you go. If I find there are larger manifest zones, I will revise these numbers. So, but for now that'll work. But that's a great question to find the answer to. When this facility is installed in the settlement, it creates a manifest zone aligned to one of the 12 planes of Eberron that can be accessed as detailed in the Forge of the Artificer. This radius, the radius of the manifest zone is equal to 1 mile times the rank of the manifest zone. Anyone, you can. Hold on. Okay, so let's see. Facility benefit. And the facility benefit is when you issue the Empower order to create a magic item, you can roll an additional Bastion die equal to the rank of this facility. So creating magic items inside the manifest zone provides benefits. And then we have downtime activity. When you spend a Bastion turn of downtime activity in the manifest zone. In the manifest zone, you gain a boon as detailed in the Forge of the Artificer supplement. And I don't know what else. Each facility gets 3 benefits, and it can either be an order that you can issue to perform a specific command. It could be a facility benefit that modifies die rolls of orders that you give to bastions that are utilizing the facility in question. And then there's downtime activities, which are things that players can spend a week there to get as a bonus. Third rank, huh? Let's see. Let's go with unique facility benefit. I don't know why it's the wrong color, but here we are. Unique facility benefit. I'll fix the font eventually somehow. Let's do it like, let's do this. Once per Bastion turn, you the manifest zone opens a portal to the plane of the plane connected to the settlement. No, let's replace each benefit has to be concise. So let's ignore facility benefits, or rather let's go with unique facility benefits, and let's give 2 unique facility benefits and 1 downtime activity. So we already know what the downtime activity is, and now we have once per Bastion turn, the manifest zone opens a portal to the plane connected to the settlement. Creatures can cross to and from the plane. The portal remains open until dawn the next day, something like that. That's one of the benefits. And then the second benefit is no, hold on. Downtime activity, unique facility benefits, and sorry, it's just a facility benefit. It's a normal one. I was wrong about that. Facility benefit equals and it will be roll 1 additional Bastion event each turn that the facility uses its unique facility benefit to open a portal. So when you open the portal, it triggers a Bastion event, and all sorts of shit can happen with a Bastion event. Let's actually explore those ideas here real quick. A Bastion event is a d20 die roll. Here's some of the things that can happen. Rival blockade. This would be in a settlement. So a rival army prevents trade, harvest, maintain, or recruit orders as a complication unless bribed for 1 die of bastion points, which are lost permanently. So in this instance, an army would roll out from that manifest zone and basically hold your settlement hostage until you give them bastion points worth of resources. That's a horrible die roll. The worst die roll is you're actively under attack. Sources of material are damaged. Deal 2 bastion dice of damage as part of a siege. You could get plundered, which is settlement raiders steal materials, so you lose 1 die. 1 bastion die of materials, but then at the other end of the spectrum, on a natural 20, a rival collapses. So allies pillage rivals, spend treasure in the settlement, increasing the lifestyle by a degree of 2 degrees this turn. Unexpected fortune, settlement, buried treasure hoards discovered, increases the lifestyle by 1 degree per turn. Or it could be a hireling discovers synergy between facilities, gaining 1 bastion die, a bonus bastion die per turn, per order. Divine blessing settlement, divine favors. The settlement roll an additional bastion die on an order this turn. Brilliant insight. Holiday bolsters resident morale. Roll lifestyle check this turn with advantage. Monster alliance. Monsters offer to protect the settlement in exchange for residents. Roll a bastion die at scale 1. The monster increases the population by the result. The CR of the creatures are of equal rank to the settlement. Roll a bastion die at scale 1. So a bastion die, that'd basically be a D10. Roll a population die equal to the rank of the bastion. The monsters roll a population die equal to the rank of the bastion. So like it'd be D10 at first rank. It'd be D10 times 10, D10 times 100, D10 times 1,000. D10 times 10,000 is the population that would roll into the settlement. So if you have a manifest zone in a 5th rank metropolis, when that portal opens up, you could have up to anywhere from 10 to 100,000 refugees from another plane of existence offering to roll in and set up camp there to assist from enemies coming through that portal in the future if you give them residence. At the lowest end in a hamlet, it would be up to 10 creatures. But they become a permanent part of your facilities that way. So like there's all sorts of interesting events that could happen. Noble patron, prestigious noble requests establishing a bastion in the settlement and offers taxes equal to the rank of that settlement. So like a dignitary from Rizia comes through and wants to create an envoy in this community through that when the portal's open, and it's going to give you 3rd rank. It'll give you 3 bastion points to allow it to set up shop there. Like these are fun things that can happen that can really change the flavor of your event, and I think the bastion is a good way of making that happen. So this was a quick, easy way that anyone could create like this idea of like this facility benefit roll an additional bastion event. There's like 4 or 5 different facilities already in here that do that, like the teleportation circle, the planar gate. I think the guild hall does. The government does this. There's a couple others. I can't remember offhand what. But there's a number of them that offer a similar bonus. So like this is all just textbook shit that you could do. The unique thing is the downtime activity. That's the new interesting thing, and anyone that's in that's inside the manifest zone, basically going about their life, doing their thing, they will all naturally like for example, Ader Academy is located inside of a manifest zone. So anyone that's experimenting with creating undead inside of Ader Academy is going to automatically create more undead than what their spell level would have allowed them, because it automatically amplifies the spell by 1 spell slot, by 1 spell level. There you go, Rizia. Higher level spell slot, cold spell. So what about you can expend a charm as a bonus action to gain a fly speed equal to your speed for 1 minute. So Serenia, the Azure Sky, that is where that's where Sharn is located at. So every resident
in Sharn that spends at least 1 week there gain the ability to fly for a minute. So that's why so few people die from falling off of towers in Sharn, because if you've been there for a week, you can just fly. It's like, whew, that was a close one. And now you just got to take it easy for a week. Just be careful for a week because your charm is down. But at the end of your next Bastion turn, everyone in the city literally has flight for 1 minute. And most of them don't do anything with it because people are afraid of falling off of towers. And especially if you're using sky chariots and shit like that, shit happens. This is a massive get out of shit free card. But risky people like thieves and stuff will risk it getting to places that they shouldn't be able to normally get access to, or maybe they use it as their get out of jail or get out of their trouble card. So they'll try to scale things they shouldn't be scaling, and when they fail, they fall off. They can use their fly, and then maybe they'll come back next week and try again. But this helps. I think this helps reinforce the flavor. I think what we're doing helps better reinforce the flavor of what these manifest zones do than what we have. So I'm just gonna break my arm patting myself on the back on that one, and for now I'll call this one done. So let's go to the last thing that we need to work on, which is the museum. A museum contains relics and treasures brought back from expeditions you participated in or sponsored, carefully cataloged and displayed. Research, specialized lore. When you issue the research order to this facility, you commission the hirelings to study particular treasures in the museum. The work takes 7 days. The hirelings gain knowledge regarding some question of ancient history as if they had cast a legend lore spell, then shares this knowledge with you the next time you speak with them. Secrets of the past. Your museum contains one treasure that gives you a magical charm. When you spend 7 days studying it and then finish a long rest in your bastion, the charm lasts for 7 days or until you use it. You can't gain another charm from this facility while you still have one. The effect of this charm depends on the origin of the treasure in your museum. You can choose one of the following options. Your DM could make more if they wanted. Charm of Arganesson. You know Draconic and can expend a charm to cast Dragon's Breath. Charm of Ashtakala. You have a charm, you know Abyssal and Fernal. And you can spend a charm to cast Ray of Sickness. Charm of Dakan. Goblin Language and Staggering Smite. Charm of Kabar. Charm Dark Vision 120 feet, not bad. And you can expend a charm to gain True Sight for 1 minute. Zendrick. Giant Language. Strength score 25 for 1 hour. And then enlarging the facility, you can enlarge your museum to vast scale, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so, and then Navigator's Helm and Orion's Helm, and then we're done. So, Museum, Secrets of the Past, and the Charm. Let's go to the trophy room. Trophy room. Hold on. Nope, that's not the one. Spy Network, Smithy, Settlements, Scriptorum, Sanctum, Sanctuary, Reliquary, Pub, Planar Gate, Observatory, Menagerie, Meditation Chamber, Library. A character that spends a Bastion turn of downtime activity using this facility gains the benefit of a Legend Lore Charm. There you go. And that could be of any object, and that's pretty much the same as to what this does. Legend Lore spell for anything. The Hireling gains knowledge regarding some question in ancient history as if it casts a Legend Lore spell. Shares this knowledge with you. So that basically duplicates that effect. And the Secrets of the Past, that's just that's a downtime activity. So we could, if we wanted to, we could modify the library to be a museum instead, using Sage Knowledge. figuring. Then we have the research. Research. You can issue a research order unique to this facility to study any specific topic that your library has a book for. To determine if the book has relevant information, roll 1d6. If the result is equal to or less than the rank of this facility, relevant information is present. Otherwise, a research complication occurs. So if you have a 5th rank facility is equal to or less than the rank of this facility. So on a D6, a 5th rank facility can only not have the information that you look for on a 6 out of D6. So highly likely to have the information that you need. A first rank library is not likely to actually have the information that you need to issue as this, but you could always use the Sage Knowledge as downtime activity, but it's not likely to be able to do the information for you independently. As you gain ranks, it becomes more and more likely to succeed. And again, once a complication occurs, once you resolve the complication, you do get the information. The failing of the to determine if the library has relevant information, roll this. If the result is equal to or less than the rank of the facility, relevant information is present. Otherwise, a research complication occurs. So if you fail the die roll, the research complication has to be resolved. Once it's resolved, you can actually just do the research like normal, but you still have to make a die roll. And if you fail the die roll on the research, the ability check, that also creates a complication that has to be resolved before you get the answer that you want. But so basically what this means is that any library of any size can give you the answers that you're looking for, but the lower the rank of the library, the more likely it is that there's going to be multiple complications involved with getting the information that you need. Install any Raiders of the Lost Ark movie plot line that you need to see how that could play out. So I don't think this necessarily requires its own selection, and I don't think these charms are particularly interesting enough to warrant actually just coding. Like it's fine as is. You can just use this literally as it is out of the box. It's fine. Yeah. There you go. So, let's see. I think what I want to do instead, determine if the library has relevant information, roll a Bastion die equal to the rank of this facility. If the result is equal to or less than the rank of the subject being researched, is equal to or greater than, if the result is greater than, is greater than the rank of the subject being researched, relevant information is present. Otherwise, a research complication occurs. So, a first rank facility trying to research something of 5th rank knowledge, a first rank facility only rolls a d4. So it's literally impossible for it to have 5th rank information. It will create a complication, and it won't have that information. Let's do it like if the result is greater than the rank of the subject being researched, the library lacks sufficient information to perform, to carry out the order. Until it increases in rank. So if you're 5th rank and you roll below a 6 on your D12, is a 5th rank thing you're trying to discover, like Osmodius' true name. That would be a 5th rank activity. On a D12, I would roll a D12. If I roll, well, on anything, if I roll a 6 or above, that information is in there, but I still have to make the research check. If I rolled 5 or lower in that instance, this library will not have that information. I have to go to a different library somewhere else to make another roll. there you go. Okay, so I like that change to the library language. I don't think the museum necessarily needs to be added in. I think the library is fine. The museum has different aesthetics in that it's like it's treasure and junk that you're researching instead of lore, but a library could also have stuff and research and blah inside of it. So I can see the value of a museum, but I don't think, as presented, translating it directly, I don't think it's unique enough to create its own thing. So there you go. And I think I'm going to go ahead and stop for today. So we've just gone through all of the Bastion facilities that are in the Forge of the Artificer. I didn't go into the mobile rules because my Spelljammer system doesn't need to use that. Therefore, my airboat and my normal boat system don't need that. You just need to have a helm, which does need to occupy space, but it's not a unique facility. And if you want to operate 24 hours a day, you just need 3 pilots. You don't need to have multiple instances of the same facility as a layout in here. That's honestly a waste of resources. And I hate how they make you, they tax you for having more than one person contributing to facilities in a Bastion. I just think that's cheap. So I ignore that, and as long as you have a helm someplace, you just need 3 butts that can sit in that chair for 8 hours apiece, and you've got 24-hour continuous, which could be a player character, or it could be a collection of 3 pilots that just rotate, and your characters never have to sit in the helm unless they choose to, like the co-pilot during combat or something like that. So yeah, that's the system. That's where it's at. This has been a pretty good dive into how the system works. So we had some fun corrections, and we also just invented this additional point system, single Bastion point empowerments. I like the idea of this. I'm going to think about this and potentially expand out and make more stuff like this that's universal, that you can just spend points to gain access to, either permanently spend or just tap and reserve to maintain inside of your Bastion. Is like kicker effects. There could be any number of those, and I like them as tag-ons, like kicker effects to a spell casting, right? Like in our martial power system. I love that idea. I love that idea. But that's it for now. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up for this session. I do game design stream like this on Mondays and Thursday nights and Saturday mornings. I think pretty soon we're going to fire up some new playtesting for the Eberron Spelljammer campaign that we're building here. I think that's going to happen in February. And when we do one of the days, probably either Friday, probably either Monday or Saturday, Monday night or Saturday morning will become playtesting time. I think I don't want to do playtesting on Thursday. Just on Monday or Saturday. That feels right to me. So that'll be happening whenever we build a team and we get started with it. That we'll start playtesting stuff. But that'll be on my Discord server, which is linked down below. I've got a bunch of books on the DMsGuild that are linked down below. They all have free previews, so you can look at those, look at my artwork and my ideas. If you're into D&D 5e and you like my ideas and you want to support me, buy a book. Join my Patreon for $1 or more down below. Join my Discord server. Like and subscribe to stick around. We're going to do some more Eberron art tomorrow morning. We're doing a Mabar-influenced roper in an underground cavern. That's going to be a fun illustration to complete. And then Saturday morning when we're back, we'll be working on the Artificers, the subclasses in the Forge of the Artificer. We'll be updating the UA versions of them. We'll be looking over the mana mechanics that we built for them with the Color Mana Spell Point variant rule book that we have that we're updating to 2024. We're including the Artificer. And then, so we're going to update all the subclasses, see what's changed, if anything, and then go through those 5. If we can, all 5 of those subclasses on Saturday morning. If not, it'll spill over into the following week, I suppose. But we got a lot of stuff that's lined up. I really appreciate everyone that's been hanging out with me today. Thank you. If you got questions, you can either drop them in the comments down below, or I would recommend join my Discord server and then surf your way down to the Bastion Campaign channel and ask any questions that you want there. Again, a link to this entire document is linked down below. It's a Google Doc with read-only access right now.
I can't just give you the information away because I'm going to put it on DMsGuild. They have rules about that. But I can share this stuff on stream, and you can at least look at it because this isn't its final format. So once we get into the final format, we'll withdraw this stuff from here and replace it with the PDF that will also have a 100% free preview, so you can always reference this information. And if you want to support me, buy some of my books. God bless you. That's it for now, guys. I'm done shilling, and I've certainly had a really great night. So I'm going to go crash and be back up tomorrow morning to do some more artwork. And I hope you all have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.